not. Fun times. How's everybody doing?
Oh,
For those
rude.
of you who are here.
Oh, I'm here. Hi. I'm
Mm-hmm.
doing well. Thank you for asking.
Oh,
Got a bathrobe. We match. What a vibe.
oh yeah. You are wearing a robe. That's true.
Need to hide this hair.
Just wait a little bit till people start coming in.
So, how did this dinner go? The
It
ants
was
was
nice. It's good to
well.
see my
Yeah.
dear. Yep, she's doing good.
Mm-hmm.
Daniel. Fuck
Damn,
you.
Daniel. Yeah.
How's it going, buddy?
Get them gains.
Cinderella's live. Bring him up. Sure he gets that review.
Okay. Oh, I got rid of you though. Oh, no. Going
So good
back.
watching at the gym. Nice gains. Gains for days. So Daniel, someone I don't know if you saw the other day, I gained a follower named Trump for King 88 and can only wonder what that motherfucker thinks. Day 275 challenge if I make it. Yeah. Wondering if they're actually gonna say anything. I love how like the first thing I said was, "Yo, I'm a Jew." I don't know if you actually want to stay here. Is there a king for Jewish people that can't stay away? True. Hey, Cinderella. How's it going? You know Daniel's
Cinderella's
Jewish,
stream.
right? Oh, I can't
Bruh.
hear. I can't hear his stream. Why? What did he say? Oh. Oh. Hi. Hi, Cinderella's stream.
Whoa. This is meta. All the audios. Okay. You've been captured.
Yeah. I'm getting capped. Screen capped.
How do I audio this? I'll make this work. Oh, okay. This is too much for my brain.
So yeah, we were looking at this thing in
Okay.
Minnesota
Thank you.
earlier.
I have one screen, so.
You been following this one, Daniel? Oh, you didn't hear about this? It's pretty fucked. Fatal shooting of Minneapolis woman, U.S. citizen, killed in an ICE stop. They claim self-defense, but if you watch the video, it doesn't quite look it. I mean, it could be, but it's hard to see from the angle. Wow. Neighbor who's a physician told agents he'd like to administer CPR, but the agents didn't allow him help. Jeez. They were with her for a few minutes and they carried her limp body away by her limbs, not even on a stretcher.
Ugh.
That's what I'm talking. I'm talking about the ICE shooting in Minneapolis, Daniel. Not this part. We'll get to that part later. Wait. I'm confused. Which thing hadn't you heard about? You're talking about people trying to help stay away. Yeah. Oh. Aurora's frozen. Heard the Trump thing. I thought that's what you meant. Oh, okay. For sure. For sure. Oh, we lost Aurora. She's frozen. She needs to let it go. Alright, let's see. Oh, we lost ya for a second.
Wi-Fi went away.
Oh, no.
Don't know what happened.
Oh, right, I remembered what I wanted to look at earlier. This is good to watch later. Interesting thing to watch later. Yeah. So obviously this ice situation is pretty bad. We were going over that earlier today. I say I don't want a house in America if they're out there shooting citizens. Yeah, it's not good. Tired of having shitty connection speed and stole her Wi-Fi. Man, that is a big ol' fuck up. So this is potentially a good thing. Although, I imagine if neighbor Rooney were here, he would say it's a terrible idea because it messes with the markets. Fair enough. Blamed on the Sirmaster. Eyeing rising returns on home prices. Buying and rent out houses presence grew after the foreclosure wave during the Great Recession in 2008, particularly in the Sunbelt states. Shares of Blackstone fell by as much as 9% on Wednesday after the president's social media post. Trump said he plans to outline additional housing and affordability proposals in the coming weeks, noting I will discuss this topic, including further housing and affordability proposals and more, at my speech in Davos in 2 weeks. He going to carve out exceptions for his buddies? Yeah, I mean, he could. We'll see. Scheduled to deliver an address at the World Economic Forum later this month in Davos, Switzerland. Cost of buying a home in the U.S. has surged in recent years, largely because the housing market has remained historically stuck due to low inventory combined with mortgage rates north of 6%. Beyond the general lack of housing, many sellers have been unwilling to give up the ultra-low mortgage rates they locked in during the pandemic when the Federal Reserve brought down interest rates to near zero. Between the start of 2020 and third quarter of 25, home prices climbed nearly 55% nationwide, according to a recent report from the National Association of Home Builders. No investor owned 1,000 or more single-family rental homes as of 2011, according to the Government Accountability Office. However, by 2015, institutional investors collectively owned up to 300,000 homes. In Atlanta, Jacksonville, Florida, and Charlotte, North Carolina, large investors controlled more than 50% of the market for single-family homes as of 2022, according to the Government Accountability Office. Lawmakers on both sides of the aisle proposed barring certain corporate investors from the home buying market, arguing that their practice of buying houses en masse has pushed up prices and made it harder for individual Americans to find homes. It's probably true. Some housing experts and economists have panned the idea to ban large investors, contending that it would have little impact on overall housing stock and risk depressing investment in the market. This will not fix housing affordability. It may boost single-family purchases. Will come at the cost of reducing single-family rentals, said Jarrett Seiberg, analyst at TD Cowen, in a note Wednesday. I mean, that could be true. Oh, boy.
Oh,
when we were watching this.
that's probably true, Daniel.
Yeah. Um.
This is fine.
Uh. After Secretary of State unveiled proposals for managing Venezuelan U.S. forces boarded a Russian flag tanker and a second ship. Yeah, we were looking at this earlier too. We watched the videos of them doing it. 100 people died in the U.S. attacks in Caracas. Similar number was injured. It's the first time the government had publicly offered a death count. Early reports said the death count was believed to be at least 80. Trump and Colombia's president speak by phone. About face from his recent comments about Colombia's president, Gustavo Petro. President Trump said on social media Wednesday evening it had been a great honor. Speak by phone with Mr. Petro, who he said had called to explain the situation of drugs and other disagreements that we've had. Mr. Trump said he appreciated Mr. Petro's call and tone. That's exactly so fucking annoying. That is exactly how he decides who he's going to be friends with or not. And like the shitty leaders of the world are all like, we don't care, we'll just suck up to him. And so he ends up being like, oh, these are great people. Change in attitude comes amid escalating tensions between the two leaders, with Mr. Trump only a few days ago referring to Mr. Petro as sick, saying military action against Venezuela's neighbor sounds good. Mr. Trump said that a meeting with the Colombian president in the White House was being arranged by Secretary of State Marco Rubio and Colombia's foreign minister, and that he was looking forward to it. Two leaders spoke for about an hour late Wednesday afternoon in a call facilitated by the U.S. Embassy in Colombia, according to the Colombian presidency. U.S. official also said the call lasted about an hour, which is unusually long for a call between Mr. Trump and another leader. Colombian Foreign Ministry described it as a good meeting. After Mr. Trump's threatening comments earlier this week, Mr. Petro responded, if you smoosh that orange bouquet, you're fine, exactly. Responded with a storm of messages on social media with a call to Colombians to demonstrate across the country on Wednesday afternoon, roughly at the same time as his call with the American president. Two leaders spoke through translators, according to the Colombian presidency. State Department revoked Mr. Imagine if, like, Petro was actually talking shit the whole time, but the translator was just making him sound like he was nice. It'd be funny. State Department revoked Mr. Petro's visa last fall after he called for American soldiers to disobey Mr. Trump, not to point their guns at humanity during a pro-Palestinian rally in New York. In announcing the plan to revoke Mr. Petro's visa, the State Department cited his reckless and incendiary actions. Acting President Delcy Rodriguez is giving a nationwide address in which she is laying out legislative priorities, saying that the country has to heal from extremism and fascism. We watched these videos earlier today.
Oh yeah, what's that fact that you learned about
Thanks
marinara?
for the follow, Official Gambling Academy.
Oh, there you go.
All
Seems
right.
official and important.
You said it had to do with maritime?
Yeah, marinara refers to also
the
like
ship that
Navy
was
and
renamed Marinara. Because I was like, who would name their ship pizza sauce?
that's such a good question, and then I had to research it.
Can always give the mental image of glucking the orange thimble.
No,
That's so
I pictured the large flat butt.
That's so funny.
Don't think it's bubbly, do you?
Bubbly.
Wow. Thanks a lot. Daniel. I was having a good night. No.
Ew.
Why do they have to be quivery? It's not a place I want to be right now. This is not fine. It's more like this. Wow,
Just went
put
and
you
I
walks
followed
in.
that guy back who just followed me. Where are all these people getting like my account from?
Jeez. That's great. Yeah, come on in, people. Happy New Year.
Oh shit! Thanks for the follow, Mike. Jeez,
I
you're
was like, I
all
thought you saw that.
special. I
Special
like you
in the
guys.
head,
Thank
just
you.
like us.
Thank you.
What did I tell you? People would come to their senses this year. I mean, more. Clearly, we have a lot.
Oh, we're doing follow for follow. Okay, well, hey, you give my follow too, dog.
Just don't unfollow after the follow.
Nah.
Telling him that or them that.
We're all supporting each other's. We out here, we're all
Like
out
on
here.
Instagram, this people will like follow you, follow for follow, and then like once they got you, you'll notice they'll unfollow
Yeah,
you.
it's
Like,
lame.
oh, I see you. Yeah, we don't do that.
Everyone's doing follow for follow in this guy's stream. Look at that. Still, I don't know where like all these people are coming. There's been like so many people have been following me these last few days. I don't know where they're all coming from. But thank you. I appreciate it.
We want the lore, the origin stories of all of the followers.
Yeah, I'm just like, where are they finding my like account from?
That should be a requirement for when you join, so that you can keep track of that.
Like to say where they're from?
Yeah, yeah, like, well, how they found you, maybe? That'd be great.
Thanks for the follow.
They
Thank
say I'm
you.
nosy. They're right.
Kick bounties. What is that?
Oh no. You should be in the soundboard, in the Discord.
I'm gonna come.
Then you can have the power.
Thanks. Gracias, saludos, amigo.
Ooh.
¿Cómo te vas? ¿Todo bien? ¿Cómo va ahí? ¿Estás en Venezuela o afuera de Venezuela? ¿Estás ahí? ¿Y cómo va? ¿Cómo sienten ahí, ¿Bien? ¿Felices o qué? Creo que nos devuelven al presidente Nicolás Maduro. Ah, ok. ¿Y por qué te gusta Maduro? ¿Qué te gusta de Maduro? Ah, me estás bromeando. Dale. I was like, what? I was like, let's hear his perspective. Chistoso. Bueno, bienvenidos a mi stream. Si no te diste cuenta, soy argentino-americano. A ver. Dale, bueno. Hablamos de políticos de los Estados Unidos, internacionales, todas cosas. Un poquito de gaming, pero mostly politics. And yeah, always feel free. Everybody here is going to be nice.
Sometimes, most of the time.
Este fue tu cara.
Ah, damn it, close.
But I guess that's fine. Like
Thanks.
you can kind of say that. That kind of works.
Could you
But yeah,
spell
man.
that out in the chat?
Your fue. It's just fue instead of es. F-U-E.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, thanks. It was that simple.
Yeah.
Cool.
But yeah, man, everybody here's nice and friendly. We love to have debate. Some people will agree, some people won't. You're always welcome to put your opinions out there. Everybody here is going to be cool. Hey, thank you for the follow, Saltivity. Man, everybody showing up today. I love it. Let's go. No seré amable. Saltivity, we doing that follow for follow. You got it, dog. How you doing, Barcode? Good to see you.
Look at his cute dog.
You've been summoned. Come here, baby.
I owe
girl.
her some treats. Man, making her work today.
Oh shit!
Oh.
Holy Jesus!
God.
Mika! you hurt yourself. Goodness gracious! Did you guys see that?
I clicked the Discord just in time to see that live. It blew my mind.
Baby!
Mika, the enthusiasm. She leapt. Like, I don't know. Onto that chair.
Jeez! Babe.
What an athlete. Don't hurt yourself, honey.
This is a rolling chair, baby. Not for jumping. You're gonna fly across the room. You're so cute.
That was cute. What a puppy.
Can you say hi? Say hi. Good girl.
Ooh, there's a soundboard for that. It says amazing.
Amazing.
Amazing. Jesse Lee
That's
Peterson.
right, Mika.
DHS and DOJ use of force policy. We will take a look. All right, Mika. I gotta read some documentation. Go ahead, baby.
Yep, that's the Jordan
girl.
World dog. Mascota.
Oh yeah.
Ooh.
Okay.
Typos.
Relevant stuff from DHS. LEOs. Use of deadly force must be objectively reasonable in light of the facts and circumstances confronting the LEO at the time force is applied. DHS LEOs may use deadly force only when necessary. That is, when the LEO has a reasonable belief that the subject of such force poses an imminent threat of death or serious bodily injury to the LEO or to another person. Fleeing subjects, deadly force shall not be used solely to prevent the escape of a fleeing subject. There it is. However, deadly force is authorized to prevent the escape of a fleeing subject where the LEO has a reasonable belief that the subject poses a significant threat of death or serious physical harm to the LEO or others, and such force is necessary to prevent escape. They're really going to have to prove that last part, and I don't think they will. I think that's going to be very difficult. Moving vehicle. Moving vehicles, vessels, aircraft, or other conveyances. DHS LEOs are prohibited from discharging firearms at the operator of a moving vehicle, vessel, aircraft, or other conveyance unless the use of deadly force against the operator is justified under the standards articulated elsewhere in this policy. For using deadly force under these circumstances, the LEO must take into consideration the hazards that may be posed to law enforcement and innocent bystanders by an out-of-control conveyance. See, yeah, for real, but not only that, one thing that I was saying earlier, and we'll, keep this in context when we're looking at the DOJ use of force policy too. One of the things that I was saying earlier was, as long as they keep hiring these super untrained people to work for ICE, shit like this is going to keep happening. These are people without training, who haven't been in these sorts of situations, and they're going to keep making fucking mistakes because they don't know what they're doing. They're just in there for the paycheck, and they're like, I'm going to get these illegals. And so it's just going to keep happening. I think they can detain U.S. citizens for some insane reason. Yeah. I don't know what the fuck they think they can do that for. Thanks, Aurora. Why didn't you say it like that? Basically, Daniel. Alright, see ya. Oh, yeah, this is very in-depth. Yeah. Law enforcement and correctional officers of the Department of Justice may use deadly force only when necessary. That is, when the officer has a reasonable belief subject of such force poses an imminent danger of death or serious physical injury to the officer or to another person. Deadly force may not be used solely to prevent the escape of a fleeing suspect. Firearms may not be discharged solely to disable moving vehicles. Specifically, firearms may not be discharged at a moving vehicle unless 1. A person in the vehicle is threatening the officer or another person with deadly force by means other than the vehicle, or 2. The vehicle is operated in a manner that threatens to cause death or serious physical injury to the officer or others, and no other objectively reasonable means of defense appear to exist, which includes moving out of the path of the vehicle. The path of the vehicle. So fucking stupid. Firearms may not be discharged from a moving vehicle except in exigent circumstances. In these situations, an officer must have an articulable reason for this use of deadly force. Okay, cool. If feasible, and if to do so would not increase the danger to the officer or others, a verbal warning to submit to the authority of the officer shall be given prior to the use of deadly force. I mean, I guess that kind of happened. Yeah, I should imagine it was. Warning shots are not permitted outside of the prison context. Officers will be trained in alternative methods and tactics for handling resisting subjects must be used when the use of deadly force is not authorized by this policy. The way they're hiring people for ICE, there's probably none of that training happening. Technically, it's DOJ. They probably removed that. I wonder if they ever had that in DHS policy and like removed it for all of this new hiring they're doing. Deadly force should not be used against persons whose actions are a threat solely to themselves or property unless an individual poses an imminent danger of death or serious physical injury to the officer or others in close proximity. DHS stuff is from 23. Okay. Cool. For purposes of this subsection, a, quote, chokehold is a physical restraint technique that applies pressure to the throat or windpipe and restricts an individual's ability to breathe. A carotid restraint is a physical restraint technique that restricts blood flow to the brain, causing temporary unconsciousness. 2. Law enforcement and correctional officers of the Department of Justice are prohibited from using a chokehold or a carotid restraint unless the standard of necessity for use of deadly force is satisfied. Yes, I misspoke. At this point, no shots have been fired. She's already turned in the other direction. The officer is not in harm's way. Why did he shoot her? Isn't that... Yeah, this is this officer. They were unquestionably fleeing at that point, yeah. And they didn't seem to be posing danger to anybody else. This is a different angle. Right? Is this a photo or from a video? First shot happened here is he was struck by the vehicle? He was not struck. Bro, I'm sorry. I think this is a really fucking important question, okay? If he was right in front of the vehicle and couldn't get out of the way, then how come he didn't get run the fuck over when he shot her? So the guy who killed her fucked off literally inside 10 minutes, maybe 5 minutes off where the body was being cold. Usually in situations where LEO takes a lot, you have to usually have a supervisor or someone else come to the scene, take a statement to get a pulse on the situation. Yeah. Really bad time to make a pun there, Daniel. Wait, I should look this off screen. What? Okay, you kind of can. But, like, why are you shooting afterwards anyway if you're on the side? It just doesn't make sense. Yeah, like, even after this, it looks like he was moved by the car. Yeah. I don't. He was, like, shoved by the car. He wasn't hit. Yeah, he was, like, moved aside. Yeah, probably shouldn't. Law enforcement and correctional officers of the Department of Justice are prohibited from using chokehold, carotid restraint unless the standard of necessity for use of deadly force is satisfied. Jesus. For the purposes of this subsection, law enforcement and correctional officers of the Department of Justice include any task force officer when that individual is acting under the authority of a department law enforcement agency, including during federal task force operations. Ask 100 real cops if they stand in front of an operating field to prevent it from leaving. I bet you get 100 no's, or at least 99. Shit is wild. Oh shit. I'm dropping stuff. Get charged by the state, but I don't see it leading to anything. Yeah, federal government would be like, what do you mean he's a fucking hero? Next, Democratic Ooh, Daniel. Oh no. Oh, I'm so sorry, buddy. Listen, it's out of my hands at this point. There's nothing I can do. The next Democratic preside who comes in needs to open all the files for these motherfuckers. Using a badge to break the law. Docks away. Yeah. It's a damn stair climber. Uh-huh. Sure, buddy. Whatever you say. Okay.
Now,
I
will
feel like
open
I've
it
seen
up
this
if there are
before.
any questions.
Mr. Press Secretary! Mr. Press Secretary! Mr. Press
You,
Secretary!
New York Times.
Yes. I have a 11-part question.
Well, he is
I'm
a
sorry, I
retard.
only have time for 2.
All right, let me get this straight. So the United States government is admitting that we do have a moon base and that there is a bear problem on said moon base.
Yes, that is correct.
All right, follow-up question. Are you with us?
That's a really good question.
No, we are not, and I would like to remind everyone to keep the language civilized. This is the White House.
Excuse me, Mr. Secretary, Bob Daniels, Newsweek.
Mr. Daniels.
How long have we had the moon base? And are these bears Earth bears, or are they from the moon?
I'm sorry, I'm not at liberty to disclose how long we have had this moon base at this time. We do believe these to be Earth bears. We have no reason to believe these to be lunar bears or even Saturn bears.
Todd Albright, PBS. There's Saturn bears?
I am also not at liberty to go into the various types of woodland life forms on Saturn or any of the other 12 planets.
9 planets.
Right. I've said too much already. What I can show you is the images that have been beamed down to us from the Odyssey satellite system just a couple hours ago. This is the view out of the front door of the United States secret moon base. This was taken yesterday before we discovered the bear problem. And this one was taken just a couple hours ago. So, as you can see, bears everywhere.
Mr. Press Secretary! Mr. Press Secretary! Mr. Press Secretary!
Mr. James.
Yeah, those bears appear to have guns and motorcycles.
We believe they may be involved in some sort of intergalactic drug cartel, perhaps affiliated with one of the interstellar wizard alliances.
Wizard alliances?
Yes, next
Get
question.
it, Daniel?
Just a thought, more of a shot in the
Damn,
dark,
Daniel.
but we wouldn't happen to be invading Iran today, would we?
You got me. You got
I fell for it. I fell for it. You almost got away with that one.
me. No, I went too far. I almost had it. I should have stopped after the slide. I knew I should have stopped
Think
there.
anything about
That's so funny. Oh boy. Oh boy, man, this is fucking depressing. I can't remember where. I could swear some DHS official referred to the woman killed as a terrorist. Are you fucking serious? The Globo Homo stuff? No. What the fuck is that? Trump conducted airstrikes on Venezuela and captured Global Homo? As opposed to gay marriage? What the fuck? What the fuck? Very funny, Daniel. So funny. Absolutely hilarious. Really great. So good. I'm laughing so hard. The Global Homo Conspiracy. So did you guys see... I guess I didn't watch this video. I thought it might be interesting to watch on the stream. Did you guys watch this? Like live, or it's a Russian bot farm time point have been in the Ukraine, Russia, Twitter servers. They use it a lot. Global homo. Tucker is such a Russia cuck. Did you guys watch this? Listen to some of it. Yeah, it feels like it's a few actually tried. Alright, I kind of want to watch this. At least for a little bit. In the meantime, like, if you guys come up with other shit to watch too, we can do that.
As a leader was not good because the president was acting unilaterally with unclear motivation, and the effects of that are the United States becomes less predictable, we destabilize the world order.
Who cares? There's a dictator who was running the country, sending drugs here, and now he just took over.
Should we take over every country that...
Bro, this is like, these are probably the same people who shit their pants over Obama in Libya, and they're literally defending the same type of behavior, but like actually worse.
As somebody running the country who's a
They're
dictator?
killing Americans, yeah.
How many Americans has Maduro killed?
It's untraceable because it's so high. I would say in the millions.
Okay,
What?
so you're
Like,
then that basically the American democratic experiment is over then, right? Like whatever comes next is going to be another country leading, China or somebody else, and then America's basically on its way out then?
No, I'm saying that America as like its
The
system.
path that you're on, the path that you're saying that we're on right now, the path that you're saying that we're on right now is not sustainable. We won't be able to sustain ourselves.
The government's known for being super efficient and never fraudulent.
How
Absolutely.
embarrassing
You're
that the government has such a bad
absolutely-
reputation and Elon Musk found nothing. Is that a little bit humiliating to you that the government, that he had the keys to go through every department and couldn't find a single example that wasn't already listed in some Office of Inspector General report? Isn't that kind of humiliating or embarrassing?
All right, here's our
This
first guy.
should be interesting.
Honestly reckless. You're up. You're muted.
King.
Everybody does that. I always say I'm not gonna be the guy who does that.
And you did it.
You
You
know?
were the guy who did it.
I am the guy who did it. You know, believe me. How's it going?
It's going great.
Great. You want to talk about Asmongold?
Yeah, go for it.
I think he's more or less harmless. If anything, I think there's
You're
even a
killing
chance
millions, you
he's
can
doing
get
us a
the red
favor.
states, true.
I think that leading up to 2024, the country has shifted more right. You know, this is just a fact. You can things that are totally fine to say today were like unheard of 3 years ago. So somebody was going to be the big right-wing streamer, and I would much rather it be Asmongold than Fuentes or.
I mean,
I'm trying to think of who else
yeah,
it even could have been, but it could be
guess,
somebody
but-
far more extreme. Asmongold doesn't have an ideology in my mind. He has
It also
feelings
could
and
be
reactions.
someone
He has
way
extreme
better.
reactions to things based entirely on whatever he knows at the moment and whatever he's feeling at the moment. So
I don't
he's-
understand how any of this makes it good.
It doesn't make it good.
Yeah.
So
It
what
makes
is
it
that?
better.
You were saying better, but you mean it's like least bad or not as bad as it
Yeah.
could have been? How is that a defense of anything?
It's a pragmatic defense.
So it's not a
if you're
defense.
looking for somebody to stand here and say, "Oh my God, I love Asmongold. The man's a genius." What are you talking about? That's me. Like I can't do that because that's insane. Like who? But I can see him serving a function, and I can see.
Wait, what is the function?
Him being the function is to be somewhat more moderating of MAGA. Everything he says. Even
How
the
is he? But
crazy
in terms
shit
of
he says. All right,
moderating.
can I swear? Is that fine?
Wait, what? Well, no, hold on, because you're talking.
Can I swear? Is that fine?
Oh,
Is that
oh,
a big
sorry.
part of it?
Yeah, that's fine. Wait, but I'm just saying that, like,
Okay, yeah.
wait. It seems like the defense here is that he's more moderate than like the worst person in the universe would have been, but like he's carrying the line on all the MAGA stuff basically verbatim. I mean, like, could it be worse? Sure, but like, like it's really really bad. I don't understand. It could be worse.
Scrolled with a wink and a
No,
nod,
it
but
is.
most of
I'm
what
here.
Fuentes says,
It's bad.
Asmund
Shit's bad.
co-signs.
So in
Yeah.
this bad, we could have ended
Because
up with
Asmund is retarded
someone
and
way worse than that.
easily
Like, imagine
influenced.
Fuentes had Asmongold's viewership.
That would be marginally
Yeah.
worse. But like if I could rate it on a
I think it would be much worse. Yeah, can I explain why?
Asmongold is ultra xenophobic, has no commitment to fact, plays into, in my opinion, one of the worst things right now that exists in our whole landscape, which is inability to discern truth from fiction. Doesn't understand
Yes.
that getting news from a feed that's being aggregated for you based on your reading preferences is the worst way ever to gather news. Is disseminating this information to 50, 70,000 people. I'm pretty sure he's the most popular political, I think even
Nice.
YouTuber on the internet right now. But you're like, well, he's not a full Nazi.
It's not just that he's not a full Nazi. It's
True.
that he's somewhat moderating.
He's
And
not
it's-
moderating. Well, how is he
also,
moderating?
he has no further ambition other than doling out right-wing slop.
Yeah, but
That's
in some ways
what
that
he
makes it
does.
even worse. But when you say moderating, what do you mean by, what is he moderating? He's radicalizing.
Okay, when it comes to the xenophobia, nothing. He's as far in the right wing camp as it gets in that area. But he's far more moderate when it comes to LGBT issues. Like I actually saw him once because, and it's your fault I even know who this guy is because I watch your streams and your videos, and then always an Asmongold video pops up after you. It's YouTube really thinks you and Asmongold have a lot in common.
Well, it could also be that Asmongold is the most popular political streamer and possibly YouTuber on the internet right now, right?
It is.
Okay. So, but I guess I don't understand when you say he's moderating. What is he moderating?
Okay, once I saw his entire chat freak out in a video because they were talking about if one of your children was trans, and everyone was like, oh, cut them off, get them what's it called, conversion therapy, and he was like, no, I'd use their preferred pronouns. He's like, I'd make sure that it was real, and I'd really get them all the help they need, but like
That's I don't know. So I don't know when he said this last, but aren't his most recent statements on this that like every single trans person necessarily has like mental illness or their parents like
This
them
was like
up?
November.
Okay, well, the last statements I heard on this were him saying that every single trans person is basically mentally ill, and not in like they need whatever kind of treatment, but like they're in the brain, and their parents are all in the brain. This is the last statement that I heard on this. Maybe we're worlds apart in terms of what we heard, but
Yeah, we might be. And also, he's worlds apart in one. He's a lot like Trump actually himself in this way. Like he seems to be a fan of whatever was thrown in front of him in the first 5 minutes.
okay, here let's back up for a second. Do you agree with what do you think are like? Then actually, in my opinion, the worst problem right now that we have as a country, as a planet, is we cannot tell like what is real and what is false. So yes, two people can say two totally okay. I feel like Asmongold not only also fails this test, I feel like he falls into the trap in the most layman-coded, like dumb way possible, in that he thinks he's being informed while he's scrolling on an algorithmically generated newsfeed. He's never reading articles, he's never finding information himself, he's never doing additional research. He's just reading what Elon Musk's robots put in front of him, and then he is regurgitating that to his audience.
Regurgitating it and signal boosting it. I completely agree.
So in
Now,
that sense, so
imagine
this is the
that
thing.
was
Wait.
done
This, I don't understand. Well, imagine it was worse. Yeah, I guess there's probably somebody who would have been worse than Hitler being Hitler's job. But I'm never gonna be like, well, it could have been 7 million or 8 million or 9 million Jews, right? Like, okay, I don't know what the point of that defense is. Like,
The point is actually, as somebody, my grandfather was a German Jew, and like maybe maybe 9 million actually would have been worse. I might not be sitting here on this lovely Saturday chatting with you. Like it can make a difference. Sometimes it's a pragmatic argument.
what are we arguing for? What is the pragmatic argument though? You're not arguing. You're just saying that like he could be worse. That's not an argument. Like, yeah. I mean, I think it could always be worse,
my
right?
argument is that he. My argument is that it could be not just that it could be worse, but that in some ways he's he has a moderating effect.
He's not. How is he
doesn't
moderating?
I'm about to tell you.
Okay.
Okay. He does. I've never seen him. I've seen him like cheer when boats are exploded. Which is of course horrifying and fucked up. But I've never seen him say like, "Oh, we need to." I've never seen him do like any kind of, "We need to go into the Capitol." I don't know what he would have done on January 6th necessarily if today was turned around. He certainly would have defended it, but I don't think he would have been there promoting it.
Okay, here's when I think of moderating. This is what I think. Okay, if Asmongold were gone, the media environment would strictly be better. That's what I think. So I don't see how it's moderating to say that his existence is.
Where do you think his audience would go?
I don't know. They either wouldn't be politically activated at all, which would probably be preferable.
No,
or
I don't think so.
You don't think Asmongold brought in a ton of people into politics that wouldn't otherwise have been politically inclined?
I think that there were a lot of people. This is going to sound so fucking lame, but it's true. I think there were a lot of people that
This is
got
like an
politically
asshole who
activated,
smells and
believe it or
stretches
not,
fit any
not
butt
because of
plug
anything actually
idea
happening in
from the
politics,
void
but because
between
they
his
started putting
ears.
like mid girls in video games, and because the Star Wars movie sucked, and they put and they had a female lead, so simple-minded people were like, oh, I guess all female-led Star Wars movies. I guess female women destroyed Star Wars.
Hold on, wait, you're wait. Okay, hold on. Are you 26 or 27?
I'm 44.
Okay, if you're older, you know that like the prequels sucked and not everybody became like a Nazi because of it, right?
We didn't have the internet back then.
When did
The
the
internet
prequels
is
come
driving
out?
people crazy.
Wait, hold on. Okay, the internet
And
wasn't
don't tell me
as
we have
big.
Facebook or
Sure,
something,
but
or
like,
MySpace. I was there.
From 99
Nobody was-
hold on.
no.
Okay. Do you agree or disagree with this? If Asmongold, hold on, do you think Joe Rogan has gotten people into politics that weren't in politics previously?
Joe Rogan.
Or do you think everything is just an inevitability? It really doesn't matter what people watch. It doesn't matter where people
Joe
go.
Rogan-
They just.
Joe Rogan maybe, but in a weird way. Like I started watching your streams inadvertently through watching Joe Rogan. you know, I started watching earlier episodes of Joe Rogan during COVID, and then I watched what's his name, the very polite Russian kid, Lex.
Friedman.
And yes, Lex Friedman. Sorry. And I saw your episode, and I was like, oh god, this is the guy I'm looking for. This guy makes sense.
Okay, so if you didn't watch me through, hold on, let me. Oh, wait. Okay, hold on. I just need to. This conversation is.
I know I'm very dynamic.
No. It's not dynamic. Okay, let me go back to my central point. If Asmongold didn't exist, those 50,000 viewers, you think on a scale from 0 to 100%, okay, and I'm not asking like an exact, like 42.8, but approximately, what percentage of those people do you think would be as radical as they are now as a result of watching Asmongold? Do you think it would still be like 70+% of them would have just gone to Fuentes, or?
I think they would have gone because he didn't have the audience he has now.
I don't think really big. He's grown doing
not in the last 2 years since the primaries.
He's gotten a lot larger, especially for political stuff. But he's always been like a really good,
yeah,
a big streamer,
good video game streamer,
a big streamer, not just video games, but like a big streamer.
I remember when you did that misgive call, and I remember thinking that he was the only one of them with a brain. Yeah, agreed.
So if he would be gone, do you think that all of
what were his numbers?
But if he would be gone.
I had no idea what his numbers were before in the last.
They could have been up to 50K doing certain game stuff. He was really big. He is still a really big streamer, obviously. Well, he's probably the largest.
Wait, I lost you for a second there.
Hello.
Yeah, your mic's working. He's just.
All right, I would say the difference between whatever the difference is between, or maybe a little bit more between where he was in 2001 and today. I'd say that margin would all be.
Sure. I hear
watching either Fuentes or somebody new. Or
he's live right now.
Yeah, I am. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Okay. If Asmongold wasn't streaming, I think that a large percentage, I would say 50% plus of his fans that are super politically activated now, well, I say politically activated, have strong political opinions at least, I think that like half of those people would just not be politically activated at all. They would just like watch other stuff or play video games or whatever. I think that he took a group of people that were not very politically astute or involved at all and made them way more political than they were before. And I don't think that had to be inevitable. I don't think that was always going to be the case.
I disagree because there are all of these like gamer anti-woke groups. They're like, these are the people who went into Asmongold streams. Like, I don't know if you know Friday Night Tights.
No.
They do a thing on Friday. It's all like anti-woke video game stuff. Or not video, mostly movies. And they're what's it called? They have at least 15K on a Friday night on a
okay. I would say those are. I would say those people are bad too. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm saying that's where the newer parts of his audience came from.
Do you think that okay, so what is your ballpark percentage of people of Asmongold that you think would still get into some kind of more radical space? Do you think it would be like over half of them or over like 2/3 of them, or?
I think it'd be over half of them at least.
Okay.
Maybe 2/3.
I disagree, but then even moving past that, if I were to say, what if instead of being like, I guess like a less horrible option for these people, what if Asmongold was actually like a decent option? Like, couldn't he do so much better? Like, even if he was conservative, couldn't he at least like open an article and read or do like, and these are things that are easily within his power that.
Yes, and of course that would be. So here's the question: if it would be better, because it depends on what he's reading. The reason why I consider him harmless is because he's not starting PACs. He has no political ambitions. He is going to sit in the house
he's
for
like
as long as people watch him. And he's going to make stuff and make money, and that is going to be his life. You know, he's not going to get out.
Do you think the content you consume has no impact on anything you think?
No, of course it has an impact.
Okay, so I don't understand why it's like, well, he's not like, he personally doesn't have political ambitions.
Then we get back to the part you don't like, the it could be worse part.
Okay, so then your primary defense for Asmongold is just that it could be worse. Is that?
I'd like to put it. I think I put it slightly more articulately than that. But
okay, the slightly more articulate version is right now there are substitution goods for Asmongold. That if Asmongold didn't exist, the majority of his fan base would be consuming these other things that would make them even more radicalized. So Asmongold is the moderate option in a way. Okay, I guess I disagree. I think that one of the most disappointing facts of the past 5 years, I guess maybe since COVID, is for some reason every single person thing has become political and has gotten like politically activated and motivated, and that less of this is probably preferable. That we don't need every single person that saw a girl whose boobs were too small in a video game to become like a new MAGA voter or something.
For real.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess it doesn't sound to me like you disagree that Asmongold does an exceptionally terrible job at like everything he does. It's just you think that it could be worse.
Yeah. I think it could be worse, and I'll send you. I don't know. I guess I could do it to you on Discord. Or,
I feel like you just ignored everything else you just said.
But with the defense of using preferred pronouns.
Well, I've heard people do the defense of preferred pronouns is boring because like some people will say that like yeah it should be illegal, yeah we need to ban all of it, yeah it's horrible to mental illness, but I'll respect the pronouns because I'll be nice in person. That's not really a strong position. Like,
yeah,
oh,
it was mostly. I think I also have his chat recorded. It was because I remember seeing that being like, what am I watching? Because he actually like his chat was in like full revolt. They were like, you support mental illness, like you know these people, you know they need to be locked up and like all sorts of other disgusting, insane shit. And you know he was like, no, that's your family. He was talking about if he had a kid, how he would treat his kid. So
okay, well,
I think little things like that have an impact too. I feel like the right-wing slop is going to be out there. Somebody's going to be doing it, and I feel like
I understand what you're saying, but like it's so bad, right? Like he was saying, like him saying things that like everybody needs to be deported, that walls need to be executed, that
like he wants to deport American citizens, actual American citizens. It's crazy.
Do what?
he wants to deport actual American citizens. When
Yeah.
he talks about like, yeah.
So the idea of like calling him a moderating voice, I think that if he were gone, but I guess we just factually disagree, and neither of us really have a way to prove it. I think that if he was gone, I think that the overall political conversation would be healthier. I think it'd be better. He would be, the space he occupies in him, just him speaking, it hurts the space. He has nothing of value, and all he does is make things worse. I don't think he's holding off any. If anything, my guess is he's probably funneled more people to the likes of like Fuentes than anything else, and prevented them from watching any of his content. But again, we have no way to prove this. I mean, like he spoke, like you mentioned him being a moderating force on Fuentes fans. He's spoken favorably about Fuentes on his stream. Like, didn't he make a comment about how it's inevitable that one day they'll chat or something like that? I feel like I remember him saying this on stream.
It was all very vague. It was all like, oh, it's not. I think he said it's not a matter of if, but when.
Yeah. I remember that. Yeah.
But honestly, I feel like the reason why he's not more proactive with this stuff is because he's not very eloquent or conversational. Like YouTube recommended Steak and Eggs to me once, where he sits down with Tecton and Emaru and they like just chit chat about whatever's on their minds that day. And he's not a great conversationalist.
Sure.
He's great at like just reacting and having huge reactions to things, questionably true things. But like I don't know what he would say to Fuentes. Either in
yeah, but isn't that even
like
worse? So he would just bring him on. Maybe if they did chat, it would just be like a Fuentes jerk-off session.
Yeah, that's probably what it would be. Which I think it says something that he hasn't done that yet.
Do you think it says something that he's comfortable saying to his audience that it's inevitable that he'll talk to Fuentes at some point, but he absolutely will never talk to me? Do you think it's kind of weird?
I think it's kind of weird, but also that's today. In next week he could absolutely say, "Oh yeah, no," because I've heard him glaze you plenty of times.
Yeah, but
wait, but Glaze, that much, and
sure, but Glaze is me generally because it's I don't know why everybody gets sucked into this. The enemy of the enemy is my friend thing. It doesn't. I feel like I'm the only person in the world that can simultaneously hate multiple people that also hate each other. He gave me a lot of compliments in the past. One is because obviously I'm an awesome person, and all that, but also because I was fighting with Hassan that he was also fighting with.
Yes.
So it's like
I can't not see Hassan everywhere I go. He's just like the content gift that keeps on giving for you guys, isn't he?
Well, I guess. Well, for some people, I mean, I feel like
for Dan, yeah.
Sure. I feel like Asmongold is the bigger.
No, I just mean all over the place, like people in totally separate corners of the internet.
Well, Hassan is like definitionally like a lolcow, right? He has absolutely no self-awareness.
Yeah, without a doubt, he's constantly being milked.
Yeah, but okay. Well, I mean, I feel like I got your point. Yeah.
You got my take?
You got any last words?
Jesus, man.
No, it was nice to be on the stream. Oh, are you getting the hoodies back in anytime with the little D? Because I was just in Thailand and I left mine at the hotel. I love that hoodie.
I don't know. Maybe someday.
Okay.
We should be. Yeah, we'll see.
All right, this next one is an Asmon viewer. I'm bringing him up. Vacationers, you are muted and welcome.
But
Go ahead.
Microphone. How's it going, Destiny?
Pretty good. How's it going?
Pretty good. I just want to first say that I'm not like the last guy. He seemed to be a fan of you, but maybe not critical of Asmongold. I am not a fan of you. I am a fan of Asmongold.
Okay.
Straight up like, dude, I fucking hate you.
Wait, hello?
Christ.
Just so you know.
Sorry.
Okay.
You fucking suck, bro.
So what do you want to talk about exactly? Honestly, it kind of seems like you're kind of. I know people use this term a lot, but I feel like you do have Trump derangement syndrome. I'm sorry.
What do you feel like I have Trump derangement syndrome?
Oh my god.
You said something about the Venezuela thing. I mean, I feel like that's one thing we could all agree is like obviously good. Happened in like an hour, and you somehow found a way to.
Do you think it's good then? Do you think that it's good that we deposed Saddam Hussein?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
Was getting rid of Saddam? Or can I ask how old you are? I'm just curious if you were like alive and during like the Iraq War. Okay. That's fine. I'm not trying to age. I was just curious because sometimes I feel like impressions of that might change based on age. But do you have like an impression of like the Iraq War or feelings about the Iraq War that the United States did where we got rid of Saddam Hussein?
I have absolutely zero position on that whatsoever. Absolutely zero position.
Okay. Why do you think Trump well, here, let me propose a positive argument. So I would say that deposing Maduro as a leader was not good because the president was acting unilaterally with unclear motivation. And the effects of that are the United States becomes less predictable, we destabilize the world order, everybody, especially South America, is going to be looking at us a little bit weird, and we have no guarantee about what comes next. There's a lot of indecision.
Who the cares? There's a dictator who's running the country, sending drugs here, and now he just took over.
Should we take over every country that has somebody running the country who has...
The fuck?
Who's a dictator?
This guy's retarded. Yeah. This guy's
How many Americans has Maduro killed?
This guy's super
because it's so high. I would say in the millions if you include all the...
Oh my god, this guy's fucking
every death from a drug
retarded.
is probably... Like, it's impossible to quantify.
This guy's
an
actual fucking retard.
The leader of China, Xi Jinping, or Putin, the leader of Russia?
Oh.
Aren't those guys dictators?
They're not sending drugs here. There's kind of a difference.
Isn't one of the big talking points for South America is the precursors and everything for fentanyl became cheaply available? Wasn't that one of Trump's big reasons for hating China? Is because a lot of fentanyl is coming from China through South America through to the United States?
This guy's an absolute fucking
Basically,
retard.
Wait, let's say if that was true, would you support us regime changing?
No
in China?
idea.
If that
This
what I
guy's
said is true,
a
Trump had said this over and over and over.
fucking
Absolutely not.
Why not?
China is a 1.4 billion population country. What?
So we should just regime change countries that we can get away with it really easily and quickly with?
Yeah. If it's a benefit for everybody. I mean,
don't you think that?
Eagle?
What?
He's the executive branch.
Yeah, but don't you think
illegal
don't you think that creates like a bad and unstable world where nobody knows if they're about to be invaded by somebody else or not? Like it causes people to act with low trust around the world towards each other.
Always been like that though.
Has it though? It hasn't really though, right?
Yeah,
it really
it
isn't
has.
though, right? Like since the fall of the Soviet Union, it's not really generally just countries invaded. Yeah, it's gotten a lot better because people generally don't do that anymore, right? That's not what we do.
I would agree.
So
So?
so it hasn't gotten better. Why would we make it go worse by invading people for no reason?
What are you talking about? Because there's a guy sending drugs to the country who's not even officially the leader.
He's not
People are
listening
celebrating
to
in Venezuela, which
anything.
you admitted when you started the stream. What are you talking about?
So should we?
I mean, look, I know you're way more informed than me on this. I'm willing to admit this. I'm not super online, but I use
No, my issue. Well, no, hold on. My issue. The issue that I have is that it's a very. Well, I understand what you're saying. It's a very short-sighted way of viewing the world. Like if we think there's a bad guy, like there can be things that there can be a bad thing, but there can be like processes and procedures to alleviate the bad thing, right? Like if you had a huge pain in your wrist, you could get rid of that pain completely and unequivocally for the rest of your life by chopping your arm off. But you wouldn't do that, right? You'd say, well, we should go from like smallest fix to down like a continuum of fixing things, right? The police officer shows up at your house to serve a subpoena, and you get into a fight with a cop. That might escalate into you getting killed if you like literally start shooting at the cop or something. But the cops are going to open fire immediately as soon as he comes to your door, right? You move down like a continuum of things. And I feel like for dealing with somebody like Maduro, especially when you're a huge country, especially when you got a ton of resources available to you, like this should be how you function. Does that make sense? Like you don't just go for the most nuclear thing right off the bat because it creates an unbelievably unstable world where now everybody's looking at everybody like they're about to invade each other, and it makes it harder to get trade deals done. It makes it harder for intelligence cooperation. It gunks the wheels up on literally everything.
Yeah, but if Biden would have done this, you would have celebrated it.
Why do you think that?
Just based off the things that you say, celebrating deaths.
Wait, what is the thing that I celebrated Biden doing that you think is an analog to this, or that like I celebrated Biden doing, I wouldn't have celebrated Trump doing?
Just the entire operation. The operation.
Wait, that was the most non-responsive thing in the world. What is the thing that I celebrated Biden doing?
Oh, that you already celebrated?
Or I'm curious, like, what in your mind, what is foundational that has caused you to think that I would celebrate Biden doing this?
Because it feels like you apply like for the Venezuela thing. Or not
He's
Venezuela,
he's just gonna
Somalia
say
thing, it's like,
essentially
they expected
Trump
you to honestly
derangement syndrome.
say how
That's
bad it
what
was
he's
and
gonna
everything,
say.
but you still find a way to defend it. Like not defend it, but go light on it.
What am I going light on?
The fraud seems like a pretty bad thing that you're kind of going pretty light on.
But I think
what I've seen, I haven't seen too much of you talking about it.
Sure, I think fraud is bad. I think that when fraud exists, we should prosecute it.
It's not enough.
What?
It's not enough.
What's not enough?
Just saying it's bad. These people have to go. Not
Wait,
all.
wait. What do you mean these people have to go? If you commit a crime.
Oh my God, come on, that's not.
No, hold on, I'm not making a race thing, bro. I've been saying the N-word on the internet way before you've been alive. I promise you. Okay, please don't. That shit doesn't work here. Okay, that's another. What I'm saying when I say these people, I'm saying like even if you've committed the crime or whatever, when you say these people have to go, you go to jail. You don't get deported for committing crimes in the United States of America.
Well, first of all, we don't know even if they're here legally. Number one.
Okay.
Second of all, Asmongold said that
Wait. That's a totally different. Wait. If they're here illegally, then deport them.
If they're illegally, they have to go.
Yes, but wait.
Yeah.
But that has nothing to do with the crime they've committed, right? If they're here illegally and you want to deport somebody for whatever, then fine. But that's totally unrelated to the crime thing. Now, if you find out they're here illegally, but also even at that, I don't even know if you agree with that. I don't know if I agree with that. Do you really think they should?
You gotta go back. You gotta go back to your country. If you come here, you have to be on your best behavior. Hold
on, I'm curious. Let me just test that for 2 seconds. If somebody came here and they lived here for 5 years illegally, they stole $100 million and they were living like a king for 5 years in the United States off of stolen taxpayer money, and then you found that out, you would just deport them?
Yeah.
Didn't they get?
So?
Isn't that like the best deal in the world for them? Like they basically have no punishment, right? They came here, they got to live like a king, and they got to steal from American citizens, and they got all their fun shit, and now they just get deported back to their country. They don't even get jail time. They just go right home.
Somalia? Well, seize their assets first. That's what Asmongold.
Sure, you can seize their assets, but like still, they basically live for no punishment. They just go back to Somalia, which, as you would agree, right? They should have been there in the first place. It doesn't even matter, right?
Yeah, but I don't know why. This is it goes back to what I was saying about you. You're not defending it, but you just like why don't you think people that steal stuff? You think so? You're saying they should get put in jail in America. That's what you're proposing.
We have a punishment for certain crimes in America, and I think they should be dealt out the punishment. Yeah.
So if a Somalian came here legally, but they stole $100 million from taxpayers, should they get deported? Yes or no? Legally, even if they were born here.
Wait, legally?
Ha!
Oh no, of course not. What do you mean? If they're American citizens, no, you don't deport people who are American. What would you deport them to?
Okay, yeah, or I think kind of relates to your position because Asmongold is basically suggesting that their assets should be seized and they should be deported back to where.
Wait, do you think you should deport somebody who's an American citizen?
If they moved here and stole hundreds of. I mean,
Wow,
I don't know if that's. I don't know about that. I mean, that's more of a Asmongold. I don't agree with everything Asmongold says.
Sure.
I agree with most of it. I think he's a good news source.
Okay, with the Somali thing in particular, so when I say fraud is bad, you cut me off. I understand it's fine, but like I think it's bad and it should also be investigated, prosecuted. People should be held accountable, right? Like my issue is that in the Biden admin, this was happening, right? The big cases that everybody wants to cite to take credit for as hundreds of millions of dollars of fraud or whatever, the feeding your children or feeding our future or whatever, like that was found under the Biden admin. There were like 90 people prosecuted for this crime. Like that was a good thing.
Good.
Yeah, that was a good thing.
They
Yeah.
should have went way harder.
Well, what do you mean? How do you know? What do you mean they should have went harder? What does that even mean?
They should have went harder against the organization.
Well, but you don't know how hard they went. You don't know if there was more. You have no. You're just that's like a totally baseless statement. How do you know?
Obviously. What? We're still doing it today. What do you mean?
Who's doing what?
Did you watch Nick Shirley's video?
Yeah, it was a horrible video.
But why not just address the actual claims that are being made instead of focusing on like?
Sure, give me one factual claim that you think that video made.
One factual claim that the video made.
Yeah.
Well, that there's fraud going on in small.
Okay. What part of the video demonstrated? What part of the video demonstrated fraud?
Oh yeah, the part where they went to the daycares.
What
Had the paperwork.
Okay, that paperwork that you're talking about, you have no idea where those numbers come from, right? I don't. I couldn't find a source
Well,
for
yeah,
any of it.
they didn't go in on that, but.
Don't you think? Wait. But wait. Isn't that? Wait. No, it's not the technicality of it. The claim was that one, they're getting huge amounts of money from the government, but there wasn't any proof of that ever in this video, right?
You're denying that. You don't think they got the money?
I don't know. Did they? Wait. Was there proof of it in the video?
There's proof of it from the prosecutions under the Biden administration.
No, there's not. The Biden administration go to daycares. They went after a charity organization.
Oh, so you think that so you think that the whole thing was a lie?
I think that the video was bad. Yes.
Like in the game?
No. I'm asking about if you actually believe that there is zero fraud going on at daycares.
You're asking me a fundamentally different question there. There might be fraud going on,
Yeah,
but if there
this
is, the
is
video
the,
didn't demonstrate any of it. It
final
failed
mission.
tremendously
It
to
is
demonstrate anything at all. Because even this very first thing you're bringing up, which I agree is important, and it would have been nice if they actually gave some context for it, we have no idea where any of those numbers came from. There was no proof of that. There was no source of any of it. It was just a crazy dude who works at some construction company waving around a packet of papers.
How's the overcooked?
I mean,
isn't that a problem?
Yes, but...
What do you mean you guess? Isn't what I said exactly correct? What I just said. Isn't that exactly what happened? What do you mean you guess?
I mean, you can criticize the video, but the actual substance is what I'm...
Oh,
Yeah,
wait, how can you get to the substance if it's not being presented?
Because it led to investigations.
No, it's leading to ICE showing up.
Led to it, not the...
No, there's no. What do you mean investigations of this current DOJ? We don't know if anything's going to come from that. You can't speak to any of that. You could be agnostic on it now. If you want to, well, I don't know. We'll see where the investigations go. But that's not the statement you just made.
Yeah.
You said that there was first.
That's exactly what I was thinking, Cinderella.
I don't know this.
Yeah, they made the announcement.
I love how that's the first time you chimed in.
They're not doing this because they
Although,
fraud. They're just doing it because they're
thank
reactionary.
you still for
I mean, yeah, that's kind of...
hosting my stream, sort of.
Well, let's say that they don't find any fraud then. Wouldn't that be a really bad thing?
The argument you made with Biden waiting 4 years to pass the border bill?
No, wait, hold on. Wouldn't it be really bad if they shut down all that funding and then they finish their investigation and they don't find any fraud?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, but it's obvious that there is fraud.
Okay, so then if they don't find any fraud, you're gonna say, wait, if they don't find any fraud, then you're gonna say, yeah, that was a huge mistake and they never should have done that.
That would be horrible if there was no fraud, but I'm pretty sure it's obvious there is.
You're pretty sure it's obvious, but you've seen no evidence for it.
Everything up.
Who?
Like the guy that he was with just had. Like, what do you think those papers were? You think they were just
bullshit? Yes.
Doc and just.
Yeah.
I think he literally just created them.
Yep.
The whole thing was.
Yeah.
People lying on the internet?
You know why I know? You know why I actually know that to be the case? Do you know why I know?
Wait, but I need to understand. So you think he literally went to Google Sheet and just wrote fake numbers down?
Not necessarily fake, but pulled them from bad places and knew that it was bullshit. Yes. But wait, do you understand?
Always, you think those daycares are not fraud? Or actually, sorry.
Wait, hold on, wait. It's the easiest thing in the world. Because if those numbers were real and he had a good source for them, you don't think that would have been plastered all over the video? He would have said, go to this website and look this up here. Look, you can see all these numbers here. Look at all this stuff that you can look at.
Somebody watches YouTube all the time. People don't actually care about seeing the actual sources. They just want to see the actual video that's being made for entertainment. But that's an entire.
For entertainment? Oh, so then it wasn't journalism. It wasn't anything good. It was literally just a LOL entertaining video then.
Journalism? No, it's not. It's not really. Well, I mean.
So it was an entertaining video that got all the state funding pulled from daycares and feeding centers and everything else, and that's epic and based. That makes it even worse, doesn't it?
If it's not true, obviously, I think everyone would.
Well, but now you're saying it was just an entertainment piece and it's not even journalism. So what do you mean? Why would we start any investigation off the back of an entertainment piece that?
Just I've never heard the argument be made that all of this is fake. Most people, like the guy's video, the guy I think his name's Atriok. Even he admitted that there was at least fraud going on.
Yeah, Atriok's video was also dog shit, but that's because nobody watched this video or has any understanding of how to put together a coherent argument. But you haven't refuted a single point I said. You have no proof. I'll give you a couple minutes. You don't know where any of that guy's numbers came from, right?
Oh, but I mean, if you really think there's zero fraud, all those daycares.
You're not. That's a different question of whether or not there's zero fraud.
Well, it's not.
It is. I'm sure there's some fraud. There's fraud in everything. I'm sure there's some fraud.
Oh, okay. So now we got to the at least. Now we're okay. Good. Cool.
But if you thought there was fraud, this video is even worse because now it's taking attention away from actual fraud, and now it's making people waste their time looking at fake fraud or bullshit.
Just said there was obviously some fraud.
I didn't say it was obvious. I said there's probably, statistically speaking, I'm sure there is, but this video didn't expose any of it. And now we're all talking about these stupid videos, and we're not doing actual fraud investigations.
I mean, it just happened. You can't say there's no investigation. I guarantee there'll be some groundbreaking.
Yeah, like all the other groundbreaking stuff they've done. Like Doge was groundbreaking.
He needs to go further.
Like
Doge
getting the deficit cut was groundbreaking. Like no new wars was groundbreaking. Like what do you mean? This administration has broken every single promise. You're on like the mountain of I fell for it again awards right now.
About?
Just what I said. What do you mean? We haven't had the mass deportations. We didn't fix any of the crime in any of the states. The National Guard just got pulled back from every place that they said. What do you mean? Like nothing happened.
Dude, my dude. We're a year in, less than a year in. First of all.
Oh my God!
And we're still talking about Biden every single
further.
Yeah. So even by your own admission, he hasn't done enough because he hasn't done anything, right?
I wouldn't vote for him again.
Okay, then you agree with me. You have the facts. I don't know why you expect to come anything from these investigations.
Why are you defending him
Look,
so
I don't. I
much?
mean, it's obvious there's fraud. I don't think that's really.
Why you keep saying that with no proof, though, right? You know that's like a low IQ position, right?
Low IQ position.
To keep saying that it's obvious there's a thing, but I have no proof of the thing. That's like a super standard, like low IQ, like 75 IQ take, right? Like take, like I can't, like this thing must be true because I think it's true and I have no proof for it, but I think it's true, right?
You can call it low IQ, but if we arrive at the correct outcome, then it's not really low IQ. It's just.
You know, that's an even lower IQ take, right? Do you know how to do like exponents? Like if I say like, how do you calculate an exponent, and you multiply the exponent times the number, and you say, well, 2 times 2 is 4, so 2 squared is 4, and that's how that works. Just because you get the right answer doesn't mean you used a good process, right?
Challenge you to look at the graph that Admiral made. You fall under the You fall under the middle category where you look at data and research for everything. I fall under the all the way to the end where we say it's obvious.
Yeah, that's called.
I can't believe that guy just fucking said that. Tell me y'all fucking heard that, dude. Oh my god. Anti-intellectualism is a fucking plague. We are watching as generations are getting dumbed the fuck down by retards like Asmongold. This is it. It's happening right the fuck in front of us. I cannot believe that guy just fucking said that. I can't believe it. Oh my god. Oh my god. I'm shocked, dude.
The low IQ position, right?
All the way to the category where you look at data and research for everything. I fall under the all the way to the end where we say it's obvious.
Yeah, that's called the low IQ position, right? Like you don't need IQ to do things that are obvious and self-evident. That's just like an instinctual. That's like a low IQ position. It's okay if you want to have the low IQ position. That's fine. But I don't know why you brag about it. I don't know why you think it would be good.
Why are you defending?
Why am I defending what? High IQ positions?
How is that a low IQ position?
How is it a low IQ position to say I just go by my
arriving
gut?
at the correct outcome?
Arriving because you don't arrive at the correct outcome consistently if you just rely on your gut, even if you might get it right every now and then.
Bro, yeah, it's why teachers tell you to show your work on a fucking math quiz. Like, if you don't understand why a teacher tells you to show your work on a math problem, then you're fucking mentally cooked.
That is true.
But his claims are so vacuous, it's hard to say if there's a truth value that you can assign to them at all. I mean, I don't know. I don't even know what... I mean, like, everything about the Nick Shirley video was false. Obviously, he has no ability to decipher news critically, right? I mean, you yourself...
What about the people that have been coming illegally since Biden's term?
What about them?
People like you downplaying it or outright denying it?
I mean, I think... I don't know who's denying it. I think that the issue is
you
that...
were. Hold on, you were.
I deny that people came here illegally?
No, you deny the numbers, but I mean, that's a whole other
Well,
conversation.
yeah, well, hold on, I do. Wait, what numbers do you believe? Just curious.
What do you ask me? What numbers do I believe?
When you say I'm denying the numbers, what numbers do I deny? Yeah, how many people do you think came in illegally under Biden?
Okay, so I'm gonna give you a range because
sure, that's fine.
Like I don't have it on the back of my I have a general range. I believe it's between. It's kind of a big range, but I don't know if that's fine. I believe it's between 15 and 40 million.
Okay.
Oh my!
That would double.
Fucking God, bro! Oh my God! Please, chat. Please tell me you heard him. You are hearing this guy. This is one of the dumbest fucking. This guy should not tell people that he's into politics. I would be so fucking embarrassed if I was him. So embarrassed. Daniel, are you hearing this? Cinderella, are you hearing this? Guys, are you fucking hearing this? Holy shit. This is pathetic. Mandatory vasectomy indeed. Oh my God, dude. You heard it yesterday. Okay. I can't. It's like a fucking train wreck. That's okay. This guy just said, Destiny said, Cinderella, Destiny said, how many people do you think came in here illegally during Joe Biden's term? And this guy goes, I'm going to give you a range. It's a pretty big range. He goes, between 15 and 40 million. The entire range is 5 million more than the retards even say when they're wrong. It's so stupid. How it... $15 to $40 million. Bruh. Ah! It's physically painful. Holy shit. I don't know. Destiny gets a bit crazy, but I get it with these fucks. Bro, I'd be losing my fucking mind with these dudes. I'd be losing it. I would absolutely be losing it with these fucking idiots. I would go full Nebraska. I'd go full Nebraska. 100%. Oh my god. The correct answer is not as many I came as mom. True.
The illegal immigrant population in the United States. Like, isn't it kind of weird?
Is he gonna bite the bullet?
Isn't it kind of weird
Is he
that
gonna bite the
you guys are
bullet?
saying this was the biggest problem in the entire United States, and then as soon as Trump was elected, you guys basically stopped talking about it, and there are no deportations? Isn't that kind of weird?
Border crossings went down to 0.
Okay.
Oh, you mean people that are in here?
Yes, that's why I asked how many people you think came here.
What are you talking about? Everybody's talking about. What are you talking about?
Nobody's talking about. Nobody seems to care that Trump is not deporting people that much.
Yeah, everybody does. You watch any of Asmongold's streams where he's saying that he won't vote for Vance in 2028, or is that just being ignored?
I don't know what Vance has to do with this, but okay. So I guess then you admit, I guess then that
It's obvious.
What?
Vance is the next Republican nominee, so if they're not going to follow through on it, then he's not going to get elected by us.
I don't think we know if that's true at all. That's 3 years away.
Yeah. Also, how is it if well, I'm not gonna jump to that. So okay, so then I guess then Trump has failed completely on the illegal immigration thing besides shutting down the border.
I mean, by your own admission, the border crossings thing was pretty good.
I don't think I've said by my own admission. I don't know why. I don't think Trump's the problem I have with Trump.
So
I guess
you
is the
said
same
that there
problem.
wasn't a policy that was passed. You said that the problem was that there wasn't a policy that was passed, but it is a good thing that the.
Well, I think there is a problem that Trump doesn't seem to know that there's like a Congress that can pass laws and everything, you know, right? Like, wouldn't it be better to have an actual immigration like piece of legislation that would stand once he's out of office rather than just executive orders that can be rescinded as soon as he's gone?
Yeah, but you could apply it to the prior president as well.
No, because Biden was trying to pass legislation to fix the border, right?
The third year, though.
Yeah.
That does not count.
Well, the first year he came in, he had to clean up the COVID mess. The second and third year, you had October 7th, and you had the Russia-Ukraine shit, right? I mean, like, there's a lot going on, right?
Multiple stuff at once.
Yeah, you can, yeah, for sure. But I'm just saying, there's a lot going on, right?
Yeah. And what happened to that bill that he tried to pass?
Trump told the Republicans not to vote for it.
Yeah, what do you mean? What happened to that bill you tried to pass?
Yeah, I believe that.
Yeah, so it must not have been a big problem. That to me sounds like not a big problem. If we're saying that, well, actually, we can just put this whole thing on hold for 6 months until Trump gets elected, that tells me, oh, I guess it wasn't that big of a problem. And if you just want to run on it as an election issue, and you can definitely put off actually solving it.
Well, did you say it's not a big problem?
What the fuck?
If there was legislation that was
Who
on the
shot
table
me?
to fix the problem, and then Trump says, nah, don't pass
Who
that. We
is
want to keep this
this?
issue open for the election. That seems to me to be not a big problem then, if you can keep it open. It makes sense to me, right?
Wait, that's just because Trump is Trump. If there's 15 billion people coming.
That's because Trump is Trump. No, he was still voted for. So the people that voted for him must not have felt like it was a big problem because they still supported him doing that. It's not like Republicans got mad at him. It's not like the voters got mad at him for that. They're like, yeah, own the libs. That was their position.
Well, I believe there was another reason for shutting it down. I'm pretty sure there was aid to Ukraine in the bill, but that's a whole other conversation.
That was eventually taken off of it, though, and they still
Yeah,
didn't
that was
pass
taken
That was
off
the
of it.
excuse
They
used
stripped
initially,
it
but then
down
even presented separately.
just to
Trump
the
still didn't want to pass.
immigration stuff.
It still doesn't.
Everybody
It was 3 years after. He waited 3 years.
I don't understand how you think this is an argument for anything, but okay.
I hate that. I hate that. I hate that. I hate that so much. You have an immigration bill. Okay, good. Okay, yeah, but there was Ukraine aid in it. Yeah, but it took it down and it was just the immigration bill. Oh, but that doesn't matter because it was 3 years too late. Okay, so because it's 3 years too late, now you get to not vote for it? Shut the fuck up, dude. It's clearly not that big of a problem. If it's 3 years too late, then the problem should be so big that you want to solve it immediately. That's less of an argument in your favor. I'm so tired of this. I'm tired of MAGA. I'm tired. I am so tired of you fucking idiots, dude. I'm so tired of y'all. You're so stupid.
It's not like it was
Wait, at
horrible.
the end of his presidency. What are
What?
you talking about? I have not heard a single. I have actually not heard a single defense for that. He waited 3 years. Not one.
Well, I mean, the defense is that there was a whole bunch of other shit going on. Number one, and number two, I don't think that we'd ever seen an abuse of the asylum system in the United States like that in all of U.S. history, basically. So I guess he could have been more aggressive. I think it's fair to criticize Biden for not being more aggressive on asylum-related stuff. I think that's a fair criticism. But I mean, clearly, it was never as big a problem as Republicans pretended it was because they didn't care to kill the bill about it immediately.
Not a clear criticism. It's a disqualifying thing. What?
How is it a disqualifying thing?
I didn't even know
Never being allowed
that,
to
or
run
I
for
didn't
office
remember
again. It
that.
is.
If that's a disqualifying thing, then there's like 50 things that Trump has done that is immediately disqualifying.
Give
So I
me
don't
an
even-
example.
Sure, in what domain?
Give me an example! Oh, bro.
Okay, how about negotiating the surrender? How about negotiating the unilateral withdrawal of the United States from Afghanistan without even involving our partners, the Afghanistan government, in that negotiation with the Taliban?
Biden's immediately cancels that out. So
What?
that's not an argument.
You what?
Biden's cancels that out. What do you
Why
mean?
do you
How does
think
Biden
it was
cancel that?
bad,
We're talking
you
about Trump right
fucking
now.
retard?
Yeah, but you talked about the pull of Afghanistan.
I've said that negotiated
Why do
surrender
you think
of
it was
Afghanistan.
so
When Donald
bad,
Trump
you idiot?
negotiated with the Taliban to give basically the entire country back to them without even involving the Afghanistan government. That would be a disqualifying thing in my opinion. That's just so.
I mean, that's a foreign thing.
That's why I asked you what domain. If you
Oh
want me to focus domestic.
Okay, yeah,
I'm
domestic.
gonna
Okay, trying
have
to
a
steal the 2020 election and denying the results of the 2020
aneurysm
election.
from this
Easily
idiot.
disqualifying.
Holy shit. That's your argument?
Yep.
Okay, I mean, I don't even know how I can respond to that. I
Yeah,
can
because
steal
it's
the
disqualifying.
election.
Yeah.
I mean, that's another thing that's a very slippery slope.
No, it's not.
Okay, what is your position? Or that's a whole nother thing.
Well, sure. Like very basically, Trump had 7 fake electoral votes made from from the 7 target states.
Immediately no.
Really? How not?
No, it was not. 2 of them were authorized by state legislatures.
Doesn't matter. They needed the certificate of ascertainment from the governors in each of those states, and they didn't have them. They were illegitimate electoral votes.
2 of them were authorized, though.
No.
Right?
No.
Yeah. Get up.
No.
I
believe
have.
Pennsylvania.
No.
But two of them were the Pennsylvania. Or there was like a.
No.
It was if
No. No. Kenneth
No, no,
Chesbrough
two
floated
of
a theory that it might be legal in some states, maybe, if you could just get in the building and fill out the electoral slate or whatever, that it might be okay. None of them had certificates of ascertainment from the governors. None of these were authorized by the state legislatures. All of them were illegally done.
It was a legal theory. I mean, that's a whole other. But there were also
No,
novel
it was
No,
illegal.
no, it was an
No, it was
attempt
illegal.
at.
Don't say
Yeah, it was an attempt at usurping the peaceful transfer of powers, an attempt at usurping the electoral process, bro. It was an insurrection.
Novel legal theory, because you can excuse any behavior ever if you call it novel legal theory. He tried to steal the election. The people in the state voted one way. and
using
he wanted...
novel legal theories.
What novel legal theory would allow you to change the vote of a state?
No. The legal theory was challenging the constitutionality of the Electoral Count Act. I believe that was the legal theory.
No. The legal
Yeah,
theory was,
by disenfranchising the voters of the state, you fucking brainlet.
we're going to break the law. And we're going to call it constitutional.
Not an argument.
What do you mean it's not an argument?
Not all the memos.
The Electoral Count Act is a law that they were going to break. When you break a law, the way you break a law is, well, I think it's unconstitutional. That's called breaking the law. You fell for the conservative slap when they say, oh no, we think it's unconstitutional. That's a code word for we're going to break the law. That's what that
It's a
means.
legal theory, is it not?
By breaking the
How is
law.
that legal?
Why does
Because
he keep
legal theory is exactly
saying
its meaning of a
that?
statement, meaning you can do anything.
Yeah, it's such a
There's
dumb thing that
boundaries, obviously.
legal
Really?
theory
Because they were
doesn't
going to break the
just
law. What was
do
the boundary
whatever
on
the
their theory
fuck
that they
you
could violate
want.
the ECA?
He's actually,
Because
bro.
they thought that
I
was
think
a valid legal theory.
Cinderelli, I might actually be getting dumber from listening to this fuckwit. I'm losing brain cells right now. I am becoming a retard right at this moment by listening to this fucking maggot. I'm so tired of this guy, but I'm gonna keep listening because that's what I signed the fuck up for, and I guess I like torturing myself.
At the time,
No, they
considering
didn't.
all their
No, they didn't.
They believed
No, they didn't.
that there was fraud.
It doesn't matter. Even if it was
No,
fraud.
they didn't believe that there was fraud.
No, they didn't. Also, he didn't. He knew there was no fraud.
Said they, not him. There's no evidence for either way. I mean, that's another thing that you could go down on.
No, every single person that he tasked with investigating voter fraud all came back and told him the same answer, that there was none to be found.
Yep,
A lot of the voter fraud that he
Come on.
including the head of his
That's your
DOJ.
defense? Your defense of Trump is
No, not a, but things are his way. Tries to get his way.
sounds like a disqualifying thing if that's the case, right? Probably wouldn't want that person living in the country, you know?
If people are going to tell Trump something, you think he's going to listen?
This is the same
Okay,
guy
if no,
who
then
says
fine. Then he shouldn't be president, right? You admit that a person should never be
I
president, at
know.
least, right?
That's disappointing.
I mean, I feel like you can apply that to every single
No,
person.
hold on. If there's a
Everybody
person
There must be some goyish in there, Daniel.
who literally can't
everybody
take
has
advice from
flaws.
people, if there's a person who can't take advice from people, that person probably should never be president, right?
can't take advice from people. That's kind of a broad generalization.
If a person can't even take advice from people, that person probably shouldn't be president, right?
Yep. Good point.
I would disagree.
Really? So the president of the United States...
What if Hitler gave him advice, dude? What are you talking about?
You said he can't take advice from anybody, apparently. Why should the president even have...
people that he agrees with?
That's not called taking advice. That's called circle jerking.
Advice doesn't just have to be people you disagree with, dude.
You get advice from... Why do you think you get advice from people? Wait, you think you get advice from people who to just reinforce your own opinions?
Yeah, I think so. Sometimes.
Then why have a cabinet or why have any of that shit at all? Why not just run the... He could run the whole office himself, I guess, right?
Based, but he'll never do that. I mean, he'd probably be more effective at getting things done.
Okay.
That's
Oh my
the conversation.
god, bro.
Okay.
Don't think.
Any final thoughts for us?
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
I don't
good.
think so.
Good,
Have a good
good
vacation, thank
play,
you.
Tiny. Fuck this guy.
All right, bringing up the next one.
The problem with some of these is that, like... it really is impossible to decipher. Like everyone in chat just spams rage bait or whatever, but you also spam like AI every single time you see anything. Half you guys thought that video that I made was AI because it was a pre-recorded content or whatever. But the problem is that like the actual positions of like a MAGA person, I think, are indistinguishable from a satirized position of like a.
At least we wouldn't have him.
We're doing the trial today for the shooting the air things, okay?
Yeah, we'll do it after all.
You understand? Like, can Trump just do anything?
I think these people would say
Can
yes.
Trump do it? Why? Because we kidnapped the world leader today. No declaration
they
of
did,
war,
yeah, they
no
did.
Senate
No.
judiciary, or no Intel committee, no nothing, no signing off. We just
They
did
didn't
a
tell
thing.
anybody in Congress either,
Yeah,
they
we
just
just did a
did
thing, and like if he's not impeached from this, I don't even know what kind of a country or what. I don't
And the
know.
military went along with it. They did it.
Well, they're not going to impeach him.
Like,
The
I mean, you're supposed
military.
to refuse.
Steven. Steven. Mr. Bonelli, they are not going to impeach him with this Congress. They are subservient.
Illegal orders.
Yeah,
no.
but this, in terms of like legality, gets I think weird here. I don't
Because
think
he has 90 days, right? Technically.
that, and the problem is that like the president is at his like widest latitude given when it comes to matters of like national security and military operation. So on the legality front, it's harder there. Like there are some things that are clearly legal. Like if the president says like, you know, this civilian, like okay, that's clearly. Or if the president says these people have been floating in the water for 41 minutes, take them out, right? Like these are obviously illegal
Double
things.
tap 'em.
Yeah, these are obviously legal things. But like, you know, doing military operations, it gets a lot hazier at that point. Like these are probably things we wouldn't expect our military, for better or for worse, to be
Really,
making
no.
decisions to refuse commands here. But like the fact that the president obviously didn't inform anybody, didn't get approval from anybody, like he really is just running. It's the White House that is in control of the government right now. Not even the executive branch. It's just the White House, and Congress is totally in the dark. Yeah, it's just crazy.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Also, real quick, because I see people in chat say this. Even the Secretary of State said the Venezuelan action was based on U.S. law and not international law. Spoiler alert: if you want to short circuit Israeli cucks or U.S. cucks, like myself, which I'm both, people that say, "Oh, well, you know, we're not part of the ICC," or that's international law is basically going to be at parity with domestic law of any real first world country. So even if Israel's not part of the Rome Statute, even if the United States is not a party to the Rome Statute, like our laws on our books are going to be about the exact same as like all the international legal standards. Otherwise, there would be huge problems if that wasn't the case. But I just can't believe I just woke up and I'm just seeing it's just. Like, I guess he can just do anything. I don't know. I don't care. I'm playing video games. Go ahead. Yeah, next person.
Before I bring up Mel Mods, I'll just say he literally went to another country, sent his troops to another country. They kidnapped the leader of Venezuela and his wife, and then he got on mic and was like, "Yeah, we run this shit now." For
like, what are we gonna do with him now?
I guess he's going to New York to face the charges.
What are we charges of what?
The one was like conspiracy around. There were two.
Oh, he was
indicted.
Yes. Wait, hold on. Show one sec. Hold on. I need to read these. I'm curious now. Indictment. Maduro.
Overload just linked it.
These might have been earlier indictments too. I'm curious. Yeah, hold on. Under J. Clayton. When was this? These are revealed today. Do we know when these indictments were filed?
Let me look on here if it says it all. Let me go to the bottom.
J. Clayton.
J. Clayton, United States Attorney.
Under what administration?
Let's Google it.
In office from 2017 to 2020. Okay, so he was indicted in Trump's first term. They said 2020. Okay.
Yeah.
Like Tiny said,
well, the actions might not follow proper procedure. Would you support them absent their legality? Are they morally okay? So the low IQ take is that law equals morality, and then
yeah, in this Congress, it's useless. But if we have an amazing blue tsunami,
the midwit take is actually morality is completely separate from law, and then the Jedi Master take is that law basically equals morality. The problem is that if you have a set of rules in which to rule by, internationally and domestically, the abdication of these rules is in itself a form of immorality. Also, the rules probably exist for a good reason. Generally speaking, the rules exist for a good reason. So to oh god. Somebody just said, dude, did you watch the whole speech? It's insane. Is the speech bad?
The speech is nuts, man.
I'm gonna Fed post. I can't do it. I can't watch it. I'll start.
No, if I were you, I wouldn't watch it right now because what I sent to you literally earlier, I said Trump literally just said that the United States is going to run Venezuela and is talking about a second wave if needed. He said all this, and he said that Marco Rubio is going to be running it in, with Pete Hegseth. He said those two are going to be like in charge of it right now. And then I think he said that there's going to be a small council that he's going to like kind of get together to like run Venezuela or whatever for a while.
Like they said for the Gaza Strip. Did they just copy paste the homework from the Gaza Strip and now they just put Venezuela and everything?
Yeah, and then he also talked about Cuba and Colombia, and I think he told the Colombian guy to watch his ass.
Have to be blue bukkake to get enough senators for 2/3.
So who's going to do it? Don't stop.
Let me get the charges for you.
I saw the indictment. But,
oh, you saw him? Okay.
Yeah. What the is S411? Is this a statute or what is this? I've never seen this before. Or what does this mean? Is it just the label for the? Oh, it's just the marking of the indictment.
If I've ever heard of it.
They don't list the on a sealed indictment. Do they not normally list the charges here? Is that? Hold on, let me check one sec. 4 counts. Count 1, narco-terrorism conspiracy.
Yep.
Well, I mean... Hi, what's up?
So I guess we're talking about Venezuela. Wanted to hop in. Have you seen what's been happening with the successor?
No, is it the lady or whatever, or somebody else?
It's the vice president.
Yeah, it's not Machado. She's out. I don't know what happened there, but it seems like Rodriguez is like a super hardcore defender of Maduro. She's his tiger, apparently. That's what he calls her. But she's been like she did a bunch of speeches, or just one, but talking about, oh yeah, Maduro, like the capture is illegal. We're never going to be a puppet of the United States. Like we're going to fight back as best we can. They need to like send him back. But this is at the same time that she's courting Rubio. Apparently they had a call about making Venezuela great again. And Trump thinks that she'll listen because she has to. She has no other choice. That's what he said, at least. I'm assuming because they'll oust her if she doesn't listen. But what do you think about that? Because in my mind, having the same administration in power just leads to nothing happening. They could just stall out for time, say that they're going to do a bunch of democratic bullshit, and then when Trump gets distracted, they just go back to their old bullshit. If all the same military leaders are in power,
I don't know enough about Venezuela to know what could happen. The issue is it's going to be the same issue as always. Is that Trump so you have to look to other players in the region to see what their motivation is, because they're going to be the ones that are running shit.
Are we censoring retard now? Man.
Against us, and then you have to look at the competing factions in the White House to see what their interests are. So you would look to like the Miller faction. You would look to Vance and see what him and his stooges want. You'd look to Rubio, who's fighting for whatever shred of dignity or life or morality he has there.
Rubio's the only person
that upsets me. I need representation.
I know his position for sure. It's obviously completely positive. And during that same speech that Trump gave, where he was talking about a second strike or whatever, they commented on Cuba, and it seems like that's what I shouldn't say seems like, but that Rubio was talking about like, oh, if I was a government official in Cuba, I'd be really scared right now. I would be wary. And Trump was saying that Cuba's terrible or whatever. So I know that Rubio's generally in support of it, just because it'll lead to like a forced transition of Cuba.
Yeah, but we have to be careful because like I don't know what Rubio is going to say just to like stay in power, because it might be that if I can't believe I'm saying that. My favorite description ever, I don't know if I said this to you, but like my favorite description ever of Rubio, when like all of the cabinet is sitting together, is that Rubio is the only person there who knows he's going to hell, and everybody else is just evil. And maybe I might be over-indexing so hard on other things or whatever, but I feel like Rubio would be the only semi-sane person in that entire administration that could hold together any semblance of coherent foreign policy understanding. I would trust Rubio with it 1 trillion times more than anyone else. Now, you have to be careful. Rubio is Cuban, right?
Yep.
You have to be careful because people coming from South America or from Cuba can have really bad opinions about South America or South American countries. I think it's pretty normal. But Rubio's not an idiot, and he has a better understanding and grasp of foreign affairs in the world than anybody in the Trump White House does.
Damn, that's
so I'm sorry, all that to say that like Rubio might say some shit publicly because he knows if he comes out and he steps out against Trump, he's just gone.
That's
and he won't have the ability
sad,
to do anything.
Man.
But
I guess it's possible that he's like just hiding his power level.
Did y'all see what I just had to do in the game? Just had to euthanize that chick. That's sad, man.
Or trying to stay in power, like for sure. I guess I can't reconcile that. Why would he help support Rodriguez instead of Machado? Like remember, these are left-wing authoritarians, so you would think Rubio would be in favor of like a more right-wing opposition leader. I get like for me at least, it seems like maybe I agree that he's trying to hold on to power just because he wants it. But to me, it seems like he doesn't give a about the outcome as long as they get to Cuba. Like
she was all like rifty, so she was like phasing in and out. There was no way to fix it, and eventually she was just gonna lose her memory and her mind. And she was like, "Look, I just have one last request for you. End it for me." And so I blew her head off. It was the humane thing to do.
well, isn't that not to be tanky, but like unfortunately, isn't that kind of been the at least during the Cold War, wasn't that kind of the U.S. approach to South America? Who cares about the people as long as the leaders are loyal to us? Arguably, it's been the approach a little bit to the Middle East, right? Who cares about the leaders as long as the monarchs are faithful to U.S. interest? Like this is where your real imperialism arguments come in, right? But
yep.
Yeah. So I don't know what I don't know what the end game. The thing here's what I don't know. And I still don't know the answer. I don't know if I have an opinion. I don't know why Trump hates Maduro so much. I don't know what the thing is. I don't know if Maduro said he has a small dick or what. I don't know where that. It seems like he has some personal seething hatred for him. And I just don't know where it comes from.
I'm not sure either. I looked it up. Maduro never said anything too crazy about Trump. Whenever Trump would do something that was like anti-communist or anti-socialist, he would just say like some generic like, oh yeah, this is bad. But it's no different than like condemnations of America by Putin or by Xi or by Kim Jong-un or whatever. Like it's all the same shit. My theory, since what it seems to be like Trump is setting up for, is like it might just be a projection of strength. Like he just wants to look tough, and somebody, maybe Rubio, mentioned that like Maduro would be like an easy target since he's so close to America. He's widely disliked. It might just be like an easy way to get a free dunk.
What is the Republican establishment? What is their response been, or more specifically, like the Republican Congress? Has Mike Johnson or Thune, have any of these people said anything today about any of this? Do we have any response from the Republicans in Congress about this?
I'm not sure. I was
it
reading
just
the
happened
Guardian.
like maybe 6 hours ago.
Yeah, I know, but I'm curious if there have been any total dick sucking. Dude, these guys have to be. These people need to be exiled, bro. Like it can't be that we have a party in this country that operates this way, where like literally the president can do anything he wants, and on our side we're endlessly critical of every single little thing that happens. It's just so unbelievably. Massey is against it. Stop blinking. I don't give a f about Massey. Obviously, he's against. That's fine. But I'm looking for like more. Like, oh my God, it's okay, Destiny. Massey and Rand Paul have come out and spoken against. Okay, great. That's great. That's fine. Like, give me more Republicans. Give me more
Mike
Republicans.
Johnson.
Well, yeah, that'd be a lot. But oh, hold on. What did Thune say? For years, Nicolas Maduro, the cartel he... Okay, don't get
Okay,
loser.
cool.
Yeah, these just need to get...
Suck
Bro,
it.
I'm
Suck the dick.
not fed posting. I'm not gonna...
Don't fed
not
post.
gonna
All right,
fed
case, we're
post.
doing an Asmongold segment, so we're
All
going
right,
to get you out of here for
love you, buddy.
All right, peace out.
GG. All right, Melt Mods. Welcome. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry, I can only hear him. My kind of
Just mute a stream. Here you go.
Yep. All
This is stock
right.
up
Yeah, what
spot.
are we
Makes me feel like we got
getting into? I guess.
You're an Asmongold fan. Do you have any issue with the fact that he
Fight or
gets all of his news from just
something
scrolling his
coming up
algorithmically
soon.
generated Twitter feed? Do you think that might be a really bad way to... Or that you might be getting a very biased perception of what's going on in the world if that's how you get your news?
Yes, but also that's generally how most lay people get their information in America, is it not? Like
Yeah,
he's
it is,
on
but don't
par
we
with
expect-
every other person who's going to be consuming his content.
Yeah, but wouldn't we want more from somebody who's delivering content? Like, wouldn't we expect them to be more informed? Are we putting in more work to be knowledgeable on a thing rather than just... Like, isn't Asmongold's, like, delivery of news the equivalent of him having a bunch of friends crowding around saying, like, let's scroll my Twitter together?
Yeah,
What?
but I mean, I guess people are watching him produce
Wait, what did
news
I
content,
say,
but they're watching
Aurora?
it for the entertainment of his content, not to be informed,
Well,
right? Like,
no, I don't
they
agree with
want
that.
to
They're
see him
being
go through the yeah, they are getting informed.
I've
by
already
his Twitter feed,
forgotten
which is what
what
they're
I
getting
said
entertained
that
by
you're
and wanting to
reacting to.
continue to. You know what I mean? Like, I want Asmongold to run through his Twitter feed and tell me the things that are going to get me upset and or like happy that like, oh, I'm finding this fraud from this guy who makes a video.
Do you care about knowing if things are, like, true or not true? Or is it just about the entertainment purpose at the end of the day? Like, wouldn't you rather know if a thing is true or not true?
I mean, at the end of the day, does it matter? Like, the government
it?
is going to act on it regardless of if it's true, right? So,
So wouldn't we want the
If-
government
if
acting on
anything,
true
it's almost
things
better
rather
than-
than not true things?
well, that's how we used to do things, but not in Trumpistan, right? Like, I think you're too wedded to the idea that this
Civic
is still
debate is the
America.
best
It's
one.
like the country has
Okay.
changed now. It's like the idea that like if you were
What is
still
this?
a British
Should we-
colony,
hold on,
What number is
then
this?
how we
Hold
could be
on.
doing things because we have a monarch, and we're like in America going like, no, we don't do it that way anymore.
Okay, so then shouldn't we be advocating to go back to when we were having, like, real information? Wouldn't that be a better state of affairs?
Fourth. Oh, this is the fourth.
Better as in like
Okay.
the Iraq War and things like that. Like people don't believe in that like method of thinking anymore because it produced
Best
outcomes
as
that
in
we're
good
not
quality
happy with.
or best
Because some bad
as in
things happen, so if some bad things
I'm
happen,
gonna
we have to
lose
ditch the
my
whole thing?
shit.
Yeah, it's like monarchy. Like we were like British people were happy having a king when it was like William the Conqueror and they were like doing great things by having a king. But then when bad things happen with a king, you want to get rid of it. Exactly like how people are like, well, America was great for a while, but it started falling
When did
into a
America
quagmire and
become-
not being
wait,
able to solve its own problems. So
Wait.
we're getting rid of that system. We're doing the Trump system now.
When did
He
America
gets to
become?
decide
When
what's
did
right,
America
and
become?
we like
Wait,
that.
when did America become not great?
no.
What problems were we not able to solve that you think we can solve now with Trump?
I'm sorry. So, like the Iraq War, the financial crisis, the unemployment. I mean, that's what I'm saying is that all these other people who don't think the way that you do, where like logic and facts and knowledge like win out. Other people want to feel the catharsis of somebody who's doing something about those things rather than like thinking it through or
Okay, so like the
wanting to
Iraq
solve
War
it like
was
intelligently.
the Iraq War was bad. I agree with that. But like, so because a bad thing happened, we're going to ditch the concept of truth, and we're just going to become the most like postmodern, crazy, like existing country on the planet now to see how that works. Like, why would we expect that to work out better?
I'm not claiming that it would work out better. It's just what the American citizenry want. That's why they elected
I
Trump
agree
after
that that's what they
he
want. I'm not
governed.
here to do a descriptive thing. I'm here to do a prescriptive. I'm here to look for a defense of it. I think it's bad. You agree? If you agree that it's just bad, then we don't disagree. But
Right. I mean, I think it's a little bit bad, but it's also the country that I live in now, right? Like, I don't have the ability to go back to old America.
But we literally
I'm
do. We can.
living
Well,
in the America where
we're not going back. We don't have to go back to old America, but we can choose a path forward. And one is where we believe in true things, and the other is where we just say random stupid shit and like nothing matters. Right? We don't have to become postmodern and not believe in any.
Shit and nothing matters makes people happy. That's why they continue to vote for that, right? Like the amount of people who are freaked out over this whole Maduro and Venezuela and whatever thing is dwarfed by the people who are just like, yeah, bad guy gone, right? Like,
Hold on, wait, hold on.
I understand that like
I don't
you
know,
are
wait.
still thinking like an old British colonialist, but the idea is that like all these other people have moved on from that,
Okay.
regardless of how stupid it is.
Okay, so you
right?
agree?
Like,
If you're
that's
just here
how
to give
we're
me,
thinking
are you just here to describe why people think the way they do, or are you here to defend it?
Well, I am defending it. I'm saying that if
No,
this
no,
is
no.
the,
You're saying
if
this is the current
country
state of
that I'm
affairs.
gonna
I
live
know
in, I have to embrace it and be an American now. I have to understand that like this is not how the old way things are going to be.
No.
This is
why
how
do you have
things
to-
are going to be going forward.
Why do you have to embrace it? Why isn't part of being American pushing for change?
It is. We're pushing for this change that is how Trump is doing things now.
Why can't we? We have another election coming up where we can choose different leaders. Why shouldn't we push in a different direction?
I mean, good luck. I mean, I don't know how, like, you just talked to the guy previously who it didn't matter to him what the video showed or whatever. He was adamant that these are the things that are problems and that this is the man who's going to solve them. If you're not providing people with that feeling, then you're just not going to end up winning. I mean, the idea that
but
the
then you-
January
then you-
6th
then
coup
you-
didn't matter enough to limit the things because people were getting the catharsis of it doesn't matter how much we're thinking or logic or news or info. I want this done and solved because I feel that. You know what I mean? It's like
I
the
mean,
reverse of
there-
this.
when
You
you
keep
describing-
you can
there
never
is-
change my
I
feelings.
understand. You keep just describing things. Okay, I don't disagree that this is how
What
people are
he's saying
feeling.
is
But
not
what I'm
wrong,
pushing against is that I think
yeah.
people should feel differently, and that we should advocate for people feeling differently.
Yeah,
Because none of
like,
these problems
he
are going to get
just
solved
seems
with whatever
resigned to
weirdo
it.
system we're trying right now, and people need to be ready for what comes next because this isn't going to work. Like
I mean,
Trump is not going to solve any of the problems that people have now. All of them are getting worse. Nothing is getting solved under Trump. and people need to be aware of that. And then I think we need to push against people like creators like Asmongold who are pretending that things will get better, or who are making bad predictions, or who don't seem to understand what's going on. And to say like, hey, maybe like, look, we can see that this isn't going to work, and look, it's not working. Like, we should try something different. Maybe one of those things could be like believing in true things again, because if we don't even understand the world around us, how can we possibly, work to fix it or change it?
I mean, I would have agreed in the past, but now true is just what people believe it. I mean, like when that guy watched that dude's video, he now believes that that is true. That is what the truth is to him, right? And to all these other voters who now, are moving away from the system that we had in the past.
Yes, you keep
what I don't
describing
understand is that I can't not embrace the world as it is versus the world as I want it to be.
Why?
Right? I mean,
no,
I would
you
like
literally
to not
push.
have
Part
to,
of being an American is pushing for a different world. We got rid of slavery. We gave women the right to vote. We have civil rights. What do you mean? We can change the country. Well, I don't understand why you're saying it's like inevitable.
I agree that we can change it. It got changed. That's what I'm trying
It keeps changing. It's not a one-time thing. It's been changing since the start of the country. What do you mean?
I don't know how to argue against. We have changed from the way you wanted it to be to the way that you don't want it to be.
Because
I know that you want to go back.
It's not about going
but
back.
Good luck. I mean, every day there are new people who are born who never even knew or understood the system that you want it to be like. Every day they're living in a system in which now Trump can randomly snatch a dude out of Venezuela.
Okay, so you agree then that basically the American democratic experiment is over then, right? Like whatever comes next is going to be another country leading, China or somebody else, and then America's basically on its way out then? And that's a foregone conclusion, and you wouldn't try to change that? It's just, that's it?
No, I'm saying that America as like its
the
system.
path that you're on, the path that you're saying that we're on right now, the path that you're saying that we're on right now is not sustainable. We won't be able to sustain ourselves.
I guess that remains to be seen.
It doesn't remain to be seen. We have a Health and Human Services Secretary who doesn't believe in medicine. We have a president who doesn't believe in democracy. We have an alcoholic dude running the DOD who takes orders from Trump to kidnap foreign leaders. We've got a Department of Homeland Security Secretary who doesn't know what habeas corpus is. We have an attorney general who doesn't know how to appoint attorneys who are having her cases dropped because Lindsay Halligan was legally appointed. Like, this doesn't work going forward. We can't. The Congress isn't doing anything. We have a guy who said he's going to lower the deficit. We got the one big beautiful bill. The deficit's gotten larger. Nothing is working. Nothing is working on this front. I don't know how you can say, well, we'll see what happens. Nothing is happening. It's all getting worse.
It's not working as a democracy, but it's still a country. That's kind of my
and everything is getting worse. Everything's getting worse. So it's failing. So if you believe that this is inevitable and we can't change it, then the American experiment has essentially failed, and now we're waiting to see what country or thing steps up next. Is what it sounds like you're saying.
No, we've changed the parameters of the experiment. This experiment is still ongoing. We're just not doing it in the way that we used to as a democracy.
Do you think the way forward is going to be better or worse?
Likely worse, given the trending of America since I was born.
Okay, so if we think it's going to get worse, don't we kind of have an obligation as Americans to try to change it? Why can't we change the trajectory the country is on?
Even if I grant you that, again, you're in the position of being the British colonial after America took hold. You're not getting it back. I don't think you've grasped it yet.
No, I don't think you've grasped it because you're using an example of like geopolitics and how the world is going. I'm talking about like adherence to things like basic scientific truth or understanding when a thing is true or false. These are not the same types of things. You can't regret. Funnily enough, Trump is the one who's saying we need to go back to a manufacturing economy. We need to go back to having huge tariffs with the entire world. We need to go back. Trump is the one saying that we need to regress. So why is he right to say that we should regress in so many different ways? We need to go back to the racial demographics. We need to go back to the birth rates we had before.
He's only right in the sense that he's taking actions that nobody can prevent him from doing.
So we take actions then by voting for different leadership, right? That's the whole point, and encouraging people to vote for different leadership.
Yeah, and then what leadership did you get? You got him. You did that.
Yeah, so we're pushing. So now the push is to make people realize that Trump is not working. It's not working how they wanted it to. That's why you should vote for different leadership next time. You don't always win the elections you push for, then you give up.
I am not saying give up. I'm saying that the actions that you're proposing to take just aren't going to work anymore. Like how could you even understand like the idea? You win your election, you beat either Trump dies or comes out of office or whatever. How does anyone step back into the mantle of an American administration after what Trump has done to it over just the past year, let alone what he's going to do for the next 3 years, and somehow reverse that tanker back to the direction that it was pointing before versus holy crap, I have 10% of NVIDIA that Trump stole, and I'm sitting with Maduro in my jail, and a billion other things, but it's like, this isn't the country anymore. It's not America like it was.
There are ways to do it, but whatever those ways are, it starts with an acknowledgement of the problem. And if we can't get people to acknowledge that, hey, this wasn't okay, this is not good, if we need less Asmongolds and more Adam Mocklers, okay, we have to get people to realize, hey, this is a bad thing, and then when more people realize that, then they vote for different things in the future. That's how.
I think the fundamental issue, though, is that there's like the overarching good, capital G good, and then what's good for individuals and or like their own interests. So, right, when people feel the catharsis of Trump administration pulls all the funding for every daycare center everywhere in America, right, that feels good to an absurdly huge amount of people in America, right? Like,
do you ever do any recreational drugs?
Yeah.
Okay, those feel good, right? But they don't feel good forever. And at some point, you have to realize you have to put down the needle, put down the crack pipe, put down the meth, whatever, right? Okay, well, this works for a little bit, but it's not solving our problems forever, right? Yeah. Does Trump stuff feel good? Sure, it does, but it's not going to make any of these people's lives better. It's not going to fix anything. It's not going to give them better paying jobs. It's not going to fix the economy. It's not going to make housing more affordable. It's not going to do any of those things. And the goal is to make people realize that. Like, hey, notice how none of your shit is getting cheaper. Notice how you're not magically getting better jobs. Notice how we're not magically getting better trade deals. Like, the goal is to make them realize that as quickly as possible so that we can move on to the next thing that actually works.
I guess the only thing I can say to that is from taking good luck. I mean, I don't see how you're not grasping the fundamental divide between the things that we think are good as far as good outcomes and the things that we believe are good because it gives us catharsis, and that's what we want is the catharsis. How many people, right? I mean, your minimal size of this is trying to figure out how do people figure out the catharsis side of watching Asmongold all the time. I'm telling you, it's because he doesn't think about things. He literally feels a feeling and he says, you know what, deport all these Somalis or whatever else, and then us watchers go, oh, you know what, that feels good because I'm not smart enough to think of solutions. I don't need to be worried about solutions. I need to worry about solve the problem as quickly, as easily, as uncomplicated as possible. I don't have the mental power to be worried about those.
I understand that, but I think there's something baked into that catharsis, and I think the baked-in thing is that people assume that it is going to lead to something better. I don't think it feels as cathartic if time goes on and people start to realize, oh wait, nothing is actually getting better. All of this is just kind of like showmanship bullshit, and we didn't get any of the things that we wanted. And I think making people realize that quicker moves people away from feeling cathartic about that thing. We can't do politics like it's WWE,
I would agree
right?
with that, except the COVID response and remembrance of COVID kind of proves it reverse, right? I mean, the idea that you can't even get people to acknowledge that Trump was president during the COVID lockdowns or whatever, they literally only remember that he gave them a Trump check.
Yeah, but part of the reason for that is because of people like Asmongold, right? Part of the reason for that is because of all of these bad actors on the conservative media side that try to rewrite history constantly.
Exactly. I think they're successful in doing so.
Yeah, but we should make them not successful. Why you pretend you're we don't have to just be passive observers of American culture. We all participate in it, no?
I mean, we do, but I'm one of 300 million people in here. So regardless of even if you change, they are. You're not reaching them. Asmongold is reaching them by this, like you said, like a low IQ take. It is reaching the low IQ populace, of which we have millions of people that seem to dwarf the people who think like you do, where it's like, oh, I got to worry about what is the number coming out of this Nick Shirley video and is it accurate and nobody's worried about that. Or like, you know, on a scale, right? It's 80-20 or it's 60-40 or whatever. You're not.
Then we can make low IQ videos that fight on the other side then, I guess, if we want to do that. If that's the solution, then that's the solution. If it's literally...
That probably is the solution, is not to be making, you know, oh, we got to do a deep dive, blah, 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 of this Nick Shirley video. You got to go make a low IQ video of...
Sure. Then, you know what? And listen, that might be the solution. That's fine. But at the very least, then, I'm going to push on my platform for people to at least understand that Asmongold is giving low IQ takes, because I don't think a lot of these people think that. I think a lot of them think they're getting the high IQ shit, and they're giving the high IQ takes, when they're just getting a guy basically saying, like, oh, I trust my gut over gay books. Like, that's like Asmongold in 12 words.
Right, but so, like, I guess you have to hide that. It's like Ben Shapiro, right? Like, Ben Shapiro isn't as stupid as the points that he goes out and puts on his like videos every single day, but he knows to be making those low IQ videos, and he also knows not to come out and be like, hey, everybody who's consuming my content, they're pretty low IQ, right?
Okay, so that's fine.
You gotta pick a lane and stick with it.
Okay, all right. I got you.
Right. Thank you, Melt Mods. We're gonna pull someone else up.
Wait,
All right,
I'll get
thanks.
a Red Bull. My first and only of the day. Hold on.
All right, I'm pulling in the next guy. Comic Cowboy.
That's you.
It's Comic Cowboy. Welcome. You are muted. Take your time. Go ahead.
I've been sitting here watching the stream and kind of giggling, bro, honestly, because it's y'all, the things that are making you so pressed and upset, I'm excited about. Like, we are so back, baby. Let's go. And you guys are like sad and coping and seething, and I love every second of it. The Schadenfreude is next level, dude.
Okay.
For real.
2 questions. First, are you 21 or 22?
Oh, really? I'm actually 39.
Okay, and then second question, how long have you been watching Fuentes for?
Not at all.
Okay.
Fuck that little bitch.
Go next. Give me the next one.
Oh, all right, so thank you, Comic Cowboy.
What? Because I don't like Nick Fuentes? I'm out?
No, this is not I don't know if there's a real argument or not.
Of course, I can. Let's do this, bro. I'm here.
Okay, sure. Super basic one. How do you feel about the fact that the government deficit didn't go down, that Trump failed monumentally in doing anything about the debt? The one big beautiful bill is a lie.
Nothing has happened as of yet.
No. Hold on.
Instantaneously happened.
Doge failed, right? Do you admit that Doge completely and totally failed?
I don't admit that it completely and totally failed because it did remove government waste.
No,
it just didn't keep going.
No, it didn't.
Stop.
There was no government waste, fraud, or abuse.
No?
Nope.
USAID.
That's not waste, fraud, or abuse. No, that wasn't. And the debt still increased. The spending still went up, so it didn't matter. Yeah.
So we fundamentally disagree on what's
on definitions of words.
No.
Do you think that waste? Do you think waste is program I don't like? Is that waste?
If it's maybe if it's spent on Somali children that don't actually exist in
Oh my
daycares,
God.
absolutely.
Oh, so you're saying that Elon Musk identified that? Can you point me to where he did that?
No,
oh, okay. So,
he's not
so
the
what you
one
just said was totally
I'm
wrong.
just-
So what you just said was totally wrong. And nothing to do with USAID. So USAID,
Okay.
if you don't like it, that's fine, but that's not waste. It's just a program you don't like.
Okay.
Okay. So Doge
Fine.
failed. Yeah.
But no, that's not failed because if it's something that I don't think should be funded, then why wouldn't I want to cut from the budget?
You can want it cut. That's fine. It's just not waste. That's not
Right.
waste.
If I view it as waste, it's waste.
It's definitionally not waste. It's just a program you don't like.
fucking
if it's money for gay Pakistani tickling, what do I care? What do I care? Why are we funding anything outside of the world that isn't directly helping us?
Sure,
here?
you can think that, but it doesn't make it waste. It's just a program you don't like.
No. It's waste if I don't think it's worth anything. That's waste. You throw things
But
you
what
think
is,
are worthless
whether or not
in
it's,
the garbage.
whether or
That's
not it's
waste.
worth anything, it definitionally comes down to what
Yeah,
the program is.
seriously,
So, for
this guy's
instance, let's say
no
somebody spends
fucking clue.
$50,000 on a new Mustang, and I think Mustangs are bad cars, and I'm like, wow, that guy wasted his money. LOL. Well, it's not really. That's not waste. He just spent it on something that I don't like. Now, let's say that he bought that
But if
same.
he bought it with your money.
Sure, hold on. Let's
that's
say that he
different.
bought. Sure, but it's
if
not.
you bought it with your money is the difference,
Sure.
right?
No,
How
kind
I
of.
spend
But
my
let's say.
money
Let's say.
on
Wait. I
myself,
understand. Let's say that.
how the government spends my money is my business.
Sure. Let's say that he spent $100,000 on that same Mustang because he had to spend $50,000 on a middleman guy to go and find it for him or whatever. I might say, well, that seems like actual waste. There was a middleman involved here that just seemed like he was getting a lot of money for this, and he wasn't really providing much of a service. That would be wasteful spending. So waste is not just like a thing I don't like. Like it's some kind of inefficiency or some kind of duplicate thing or something that's not providing any value. Whereas you're saying that waste is just a program I don't like.
No, I'm not saying a program I don't like. I'm saying a program that is not worth anything to the American taxpayer.
That's fine, but that's not what the American. That we voted for people that installed that program. That was part of legally existing stuff. USAID was a legally existing part of the executive branch that did stuff that was legally authorized. Whether you like it or not, you can't just call it. You can't just say waste because you didn't like it.
And now it's gone.
That's
and now
fine.
it's gone. So now
Doge's
we gotta
job.
make a new one if
Doge's
you wanna
job was
make a
not
new
to
one.
get rid of waste. Doge's job was not to get rid of programs you don't like. It was to get rid of waste, fraud, and abuse, which they found none of. It was a failure.
Yeah, definitely,
it was
definitely,
a failure.
yeah,
It failed.
The government's known for being super efficient and never fraudulent.
How
Absolutely.
embarrassing
You're
that the
100%.
government has such a bad
Definitely-
reputation and Elon Musk found nothing. Is that a little bit humiliating to you that the government, that he had the keys to go through every department and couldn't find a single example that wasn't already listed in some Office of Inspector General report? Isn't that kind of humiliating or embarrassing?
Cowboy? Hello?
Okay.
All right. I mean, he ran, I guess.
Oh my god, bro.
All right, Bent. Hello.
Yo, can you hear me?
What's up? Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so my take, one of the previous guys said that he would celebrate if Biden did the same thing. So I think maybe I understand the reason why he has that impression. Because of your like inconsistent, I guess, view on the like whole like Trump situation and the shutdowns. Like basically, you could say that maybe you're like a Democratic lapdog or something, or I guess Democrats in this case.
What do you? I don't know what you just. I have no idea what you just said. On the shutdowns, what do you mean?
Okay, do you remember your stream with on Week TV with like Prime and Honor?
Okay. Or just tell me what is the position that you think I had or have that on shutdowns or whatever that is.
Well, on shutdown, you had a position that is, I guess, too many lives would be like wasted if you continue shutdown because they will starve.
The 2 million lives?
Too many lives.
Too many lives?
Yeah, it's gonna be like a sacrifice basically of human lives if you continue the shutdown because they're gonna run out of food.
Was that ever my position?
Yeah, I think. Like you said, it was a good thing that Democrats ended it early.
Are you a DGGer?
Not really. I mean, I did watch Disney a lot. in preparation
Wait,
of this.
I'm trying to. Have I ever given this position before? Were people going to mass starve if the shutdown continued? That was people were saying that this was a hutch position.
Okay, what was your position then? Maybe I didn't understand it.
I don't even know at the time what my position. I'm trying to remember it because it was a long time ago.
Or maybe I can remind with a couple of quotes then.
Okay.
Okay, so before the shutdown, you said the Democrats needs to be unified in their messaging, and they can't be backstabbing each other constantly on media with a whole bunch of liberal teams looking to get brownie points from independent and center-right losers by constantly second-guessing and undermining their own side. It has to be a strong, democratic, unified response. And after the shutdown, you had this take. You have to take a very nuanced political view of what's going on. You can have an optimal strategy that gives outs to different members of your political class, your elected politicians, even those who are not directly involved. So, for instance, it could be that optimal political path could be we are doing the shutdown, but also Gavin Newsom is going to shit talk about doing the shutdown.
Okay. What is the contradiction between these two positions? In one, I'm saying you have to have a unified democratic response, and in the other one, I'm justifying having a non-unified democratic response. Is that what you're saying?
In this case, yes, but I...
Okay, wait, so let me explain real quick the difference between those two statements. So the first statement is that the Democrats need to not be backstabbing each other constantly or running from at the first sign of fear and throwing other Democrats under the bus, okay? Right? That's my first statement, right? My second statement is that there might be times when strategically some Democrats vote no on a thing or have some statement that appears to attack other Democrats, but this is a thing that they are coordinating. So even if that might appear as though they're like quote-unquote backstabbing each other, it's not really. They're still working together to further Democratic Party interests. Like when AOC or Rashid Tlaib, like vote no, or when Bernie Sanders says a thing about some particular thing, and I understand he's saying it to appease his constituents, but they're not like the deciding vote on a thing. Like I don't think that that's backstabbing the Democrats or not working together. They're doing what they need to appease their constituency, but we're still like moving towards a common goal. That's different than Al Franken like having to resign from the Senate over that stupid picture or whatever, which I think was just a dumb thing. Or somebody like Fetterman, who just seems to constantly be shitting on Democrats.
So was it a good thing that Democrats ended the shutdown early by giving in?
Was it a good thing that I don't... I don't even know 100% what that, because I feel like that process was a little bit staggered, right? So for instance, like unemployment insurance ended in some states early and not in other states, and I don't even remember what the overall feeling on that was. At the time, my feelings on my biggest issues with stuff, here are my two biggest issues with stuff related to the shutdown. One is that everybody on the conservative side just assumed that it was all being done to establish a new world order and to control American lives and to mass murder everybody or something. Okay, was the first thing. And then the second thing was a refusal to acknowledge that shutdowns reduce the amount of infectivity. They did. It's an undeniable fact that shutdowns and distancing and masking all work to reduce infectivity. And you can see that in places, especially like in New Zealand or especially in Australia. Now that being said, were they done, you know, like was the school shutdown idea good? Maybe not. Could they have ended earlier or gone later? Maybe. I don't know if I ever had like super, I don't even know if today I have super strong opinions on what that should have looked like. I just was very irritated that every time somebody made a decision about anything, the Republicans were there basically accusing people of trying to mass murder people or incarcerate people in their homes. They're just banning like going to the gym or places of worship or whatever. That was the issue.
All right, Ben.
Oh, wait. No, wait, hold on. I'm so sorry. Wait, hold on. Forget everything I just said. Just eject all of that. My bad. Let me reset my brain. You're talking about the government shutdown. You're not talking about like I'm thinking lockdown. I'm thinking the COVID lockdowns.
Yes.
Okay. Eject everything I just said. I'm sorry. Can you restate what you just restate your position? What you just said? My bad.
Well, my first position is basically that you basically took whatever position the Democratic Party needed at that point. Like you had your own maybe thoughts before the shutdown, but after that you said basically, oh, it's a good thing that they ended it early.
It's like okay, hold on. I need to move out of COVID mode. I thought that I think my position, if I remember correctly, my position was that ending it when they did was a good idea because I think they had some solid wins, and that if they ended it at that point, it was just an easy thing to say, like, look, we got solid wins, and then, you know, we moved on right after that to the Epstein file thing, and then, you know, we've got other stuff on the table, like the revote, supposedly in the ACA, and those subsidies will be expiring. I generally thought it was good. Did I say something opposite to this?
Before the shutdown, I guess I should ask you, do you consider that do you think Democrats did, was that a backstabbing, or like trying to get brownie points from independent and center-right losers?
The shutdown, was that trying to get brownie points from independents or center-right losers? No, I don't think so.
And that wasn't backstabbing from the other side, right?
Wait, who's backstabbing who in this case, if we're saying it's backstabbing?
I guess those 8 Democrats with cable.
Oh, because there were a few that voted to end the shutdown and the others didn't. Well, I don't think it was backstabbing because it seems like that definitionally, we can agree or disagree with it, but I don't think it was backstabbing, right? It seemed like that was planned by the Democratic establishment, right?
Do you know that?
I think, statistically speaking, I think almost 100%, yeah, it was. Because like the 8 people that voted, either like, it was like the 8 that didn't have elections coming up or weren't running or something like that. It was almost 100% like a planned thing for the 8 that defected on the vote, for sure, right? Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, I was almost positive that this was like a Chuck Schumer organized thing.
Okay, I guess a little bit sus, but still. But the other contradicting thing that you told is during your week stream with Prime and Connor, like you had a very strong position on what should be done to like Trump and his supporters. You said basically that you need to judge every elected politician that supported Trump, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and every time people asked you what would happen like if most of the people wouldn't want that thing, you said then it's civil war basically then, right?
That might have been a little hyperbolic, but I think my ultimate point for that debate was that we should be pushing to make people accept this thing rather than just, this is where the popularity is right now and we give up on it. I think it's something we should fight harder on or argue further on.
Also, it was basically out of context, right? Like in Hassan's case.
What do you mean out of context?
I mean, should I take your words literally or seriously?
Well, you can take them both. I think the ultimate point that I was making, if I said that it was going to be civil war, what I was saying was that if we make it through this administration and there's no, what would you say, not comeuppance, but there's no like mass recognition across the United States that the events of the past 10 years have just been wholly, especially the past 5 years, have been wholly unacceptable and can never be repeated. And there needs to be a recognition and an accounting for the wrong that happened. If that doesn't happen, then the country, I think, is inevitably headed towards some type of civil war scenario because the Conservative Party has just fractured so far out of reality. We're already past so many points. We already accepted so much crazy shit. Like we just deposed a foreign leader today of a sovereign country and no one seems to care. But yeah, I mean, that would be my position, yeah.
Is that really the only possible outcome? Like if you don't judge Trump and his supporting crew, then there will be a civil war?
This is your final question. We're going to move on.
I mean, is that the only possible? No, I mean, I'm sure there are other possible. Like, politics is hugely complicated. I'm sure there's a million things that theoretically could happen. But it seems like conservative politics have been trending in this direction for a long time, and it keeps getting worse and worse and worse. And I don't see it ever having reset over the past decade and a half. So why, over the past decade? So why would I assume that trajectory is not going to change? I don't see any reason to. I feel like it's just going to keep getting worse and worse and worse.
All right, thank you, Ben.
Okay.
Non-Asmund, you're a
nerd. You're a nerd.
Gabriel Mack, hello?
Hello.
All right, go ahead. Hey, just to confirm, you are an Asmund viewer, right?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, Destiny, nice to be in here. I'm not the best debater, but I've been watching you since 2024. So I just made a couple of notes while you were talking to those people about some different things you're talking about. But we'll start with Asmund. I do not believe that Asmund is as far right-wing as you think he is. Maybe politically, but definitely not economically. And he actually gets in arguments or talks to his chat about it pretty often.
Yeah, I mean, like he's kind of like an economic populist, so it's not going to be like far right. It's just going to be
Not
like
really.
what?
Not really a populist. I think he's a socialist. He says.
I mean, depending on how you view socialism or populism, I mean that's kind of the same thing, I think.
Oh, okay. I mean, well, right there, he's not like super right wing, and he only and I don't what all he does is talk about America, like just the American people, and want to put the American people first before putting other people first. Like how is that just bad for people?
Well, I mean, definitionally, I mean, like, what is his definition of American people? Because it feels like he thinks that certain people, so like if you're a Somali American, you're just as American as anybody else if you're an American citizen, but he seems to think that those people aren't, or that like ethnically you can trace people that aren't, so I don't know what he means by that.
I think he thinks that they were. It's like kind of like how Trump says illegal immigrants, but he's talking about or the illegal aliens, but he's also uses like asylum seekers or parolees, stuff like that. Like, but anybody can be American. Like when Trump says American, he doesn't say white Americans. I'm mixed, and I've never felt listening to Trump that he wasn't talking about me.
What is your other? You're mixed what?
Black and white.
Okay. When you say black, like of African American descent, or do you have like family from like Kenya?
Yeah,
or
African American.
Okay.
No,
So
African-American.
they don't usually attack African Americans, but like my question would be, of all the ethnic groups that Trump and MAGA have attacked, has it ever been a white one, or has it always been darker ones? So Haitians, Muslims, Venezuelans, recently with Somali Americans.
No, that's a good point. But he like as a I guess a stand-in for that is just liberals that like that to Trump that's an ethnicity. He probably would think so.
That
like,
what?
that's just that's the same characteristics. It's just a group of people. It's not because they're a different color. It could be for any reason.
Is it kind of weird?
He banned,
I'm trying to remember.
He's banned Russians from coming.
Did he?
To America. Yeah. Recently, there's a few different countries, but Russians were on the list.
I feel like there was one country that he I don't think he banned Russians from coming to state. There might have been a few Russians, but I feel like I would have heard this.
No, I think he stopped. Yeah, I think he stopped Russians. Russians can't apply for
Countries with full restrictions: Afghanistan, Burkina Faso, Burma, Chad, Equatorial New Guinea, Eritrea, Haiti, Iran, Laos, Libya, Mali, Niger, Republic of the Congo, Sierra Leone, Somalia, South Sudan, Syria, Yemen. Individuals traveling on Palestinian Authority issued or endorsed travel documents are also full suspension of entry. I'm not seeing Russia on here at all.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think it was a bunch of African countries. And
maybe I
but then also
was misinformed, I guess.
That's okay. I feel like there was one country that I can remember Trump seemed to pay special attention to in terms of like accepting asylum seekers. Do you remember hearing about any countries like that?
Yeah. In South Africa.
Yeah,
I mean, it was only
white
79 people. That was why.
Yeah, but it was such a
And
special
because-
exception carved out for white people from South Africa. Is that not like a
Well,
little
they
bit?
still let the Saudis come, but it was just a special thing that they were doing because that little fallout with the South African president.
Sure.
Trying to make like a big deal about it.
Sure.
Trump was.
But like, if there was another ethnic group that got attacked tomorrow by MAGA, do you think it would be a white one, or do you think it'd probably be another darker skinned one?
No, it'd probably be darker skinned, and I mean, unless there was they were attacking Christians in I don't know some crazy white people country in Europe. If they were just literally attacking Christians, then yeah, they probably would.
Okay.
I mean, the people might not, but I mean, I don't think, and Asman he even tells his followers like it has nothing to do with race. Even when he'll go on like a rant and one that would be taken as being a racist one normally, like just kind of off the vibes of it, and then somebody in the chat will say something like that, and then he'll like chastise them and tell them like anybody can be like that, and talks about white trash people, like anybody can be like that. It has nothing to do with their skin color, it's their culture, and it's not wrong. Like that's kind of how things are. Like low trust societies. There's a reason why there was like every time around Halloween, there's a thing about Indians in Indian communities that have come here, how they can't leave candy bowls out.
Sure, but like, you know, it's kind of
just
goofy to like, for like self-ID and trans people, right? Like, you're not trans just because you say you are. You're not a woman or a man just because you say you are, right? Like, isn't it? It's kind of the same with racism too. Nobody's going to say like I'm racist, right? I think we have to usually you infer that from actions or behaviors, and they're not usually going to admit. It's like, well, yeah, okay, you're right, I am racist, right?
Right, but the behaviors that would distinguish that from somebody who's a nationalist and just cares about people in their country would be only like just specifically talking about people based on their race, or only talking about certain races, and never had given any grace or passes or.
Well, sure, I guess, but then like my question would be, isn't it kind of weird to talk about deporting American citizens if they're Mexican Americans or Somali Americans? Like, they're just American citizens, right? Why would we deport them?
Yeah, well, they don't. Anybody, I know at least when Asman talked about deporting American citizens, he never mentioned any race. I don't think Trump's ever mentioned a race. Trump, I think when he brought it up, he was talking about the people like progressives, and that's definitely what Asman was talking about when he mentioned it.
Do you think the Somali community is a progressive community, or the Haitian community is very progressive, or that Arabs that come to the United States are very progressive?
No, I thought you were talking about when he first said that. I didn't know they were talking about getting rid of American citizens now. But except for Rubio was talking about how if you commit fraud and you've been a naturalized citizen, you can be denaturalized.
That's
and
very.
I think they do that with all kind of fraud.
Well, so there's a very the only way, one of the only ways I believe you can become you can like lose your citizenship for committing a crime is if the crime was like intended. Exactly. Yes. So like that's true, but that's nothing new. But I guess it's just weird to me that if all of the opponents of this administration, and I feel like Asman else going to talk, but the racial groups that they focus on the most are always non-white, and they get to the point where they're talking about deporting people who are American citizens, which doesn't make sense, right? Where do you deport an American citizen to? But they're non-white. At some point, I just feel like it's kind of weird. It feels like there's a racial component to this.
Well, if the specific group that is being, I guess you say, attacked, like if you're talking about a specific group and he's not talking about one of his the enemy of progressives, then he's talking about certain like little factions of people. But they also attack progressives, they attack liberals, they attack Democrats. It's not just they attack demographics.
Sure, but like, isn't one of the biggest reasons why they attack progressives is because progressives are letting in a lot of the minorities? I feel like it's one of the biggest.
That's not the main reason.
Not the main reason, but I think it's a big one.
Yeah, they were just letting anybody come through the border. I mean, we do. We have a certain culture, and you can't just take in like a huge amount of people and let them have an enclave, and they can't assimilate. They literally won't assimilate.
Didn't this definitionally happen though with like Italians and Irishmen during?
That's what I was about to say. They said the same thing would happen then, and they did have enclaves, but only. And I've heard this from people like Orrin McIntyre, so I don't know if it could be have like bad intentions, but it's because they are like we have similar cultures, we have similar languages, so it's not like a huge language barrier to get past. Like it wasn't as big of a leap to go from important.
Didn't they? I mean, like when you talk about like, I feel like Italians are the perfect example of.
Yeah, that would be the biggest difference.
Well, like of everything horrible for an immigrant group, right? They came in. We've got Little Italy's. They literally had maybe the largest organized crime in America. I'm not sure. Like the mafia.
Yeah, that's why they came up with RICO just for them.
Yeah, so.
And that's not a good thing. I mean, that was a bad thing. People didn't like it back then, and it finally worked because we stopped all immigration, or not all, but like a shit ton of our levels of immigration for a while, and so we were able to assimilate those people. And if you look at it, this all happened because
like Italian immigration or stopped all Italians.
We stopped our large scale of like letting people in. I think it was the nationalization or whatever from the 1920s to the 60s, I think, or 40s. They stopped it for a long time because they let in too many people and they weren't assimilating. They were voting as blocks. And that was like a big talking point back then. Like that was a big thing.
Sure. I mean, I guess if people like. Wait, real quick. Let me refocus on this. Is like one of my biggest issues. Okay, so let's say that what you're saying, let's just say I grant most of it, okay? And like this was a problem and they solved it. I feel like if you have problems with certain things, like let's say that we think, and honestly, like I would probably grant some of this even, that having like huge groups of a certain type of immigrant, like a certain ethnic group of immigrant living in a certain place, all not speaking English, probably will learn to game the system somewhere. Like I agree that these are bad things, right? But I feel like when it comes time to like solve those problems, there are conversations we can have about solving the problems, and then there are people that use that conversation maliciously just to push this like we need to just deport all of them thing. And I feel like I hear that last thing from Asmongold way more than anything else.
I don't think so.
Like, what is a single thing that Asmongold has talked about when it comes to like reforming these communities or helping these communities integrate better in the United States? I feel like all I hear from him is deport, even for citizens, deport.
Oh, his goal isn't like he doesn't talk about how to assimilate them. Like that's not really his goal. But like, he's fine with legal immigration. I mean, that's part. I mean, I guess that would be.
Well, but not those people, I guess, right? Because Somali Americans are Americans.
No, they can be integrated, but not. He thinks it's because of the large scale illegal immigration and the parole of them, or the TPS or whatever, all that. Like,
sure.
Actually, you know what? He might actually believe that we shouldn't have, or for a certain amount of time, we shouldn't have any immigration at all. So I don't know, actually.
But I'm just saying that like I've never heard him talk about, if all of his talk is about deportations, even of American citizens, Somali Americans, and I've never heard him talk about integration or ways to just stop the crime, and that's it. And it's always focused on like the ethnic groups, the national immigrants that are coming over, and then how to deport them and get rid of them. Like, doesn't it feel like it's all pointed in one direction? Like it doesn't seem like a person
he doesn't make any prescriptions for, even when he talks a lot about other people doing fraud and how bad it is, and like when he talks about his, like, the socialist stuff that he talks about.
Sure, but like didn't he? I'm pretty sure he said he wants to stop like all non-white immigration to the United States for a while. Like, he's okay.
I don't think he just said non-white, but I mean, he wants all immigration stopped, but like he's not making prescriptions for like how to like just to get rid of certain people because of fraud. He doesn't want like anybody doing fraud. He talks about other people that do fraud. He thinks it's all bad.
If Asmongold would have said, if it was the case that he said we should stop all non-European immigration to the United States, do you think that would be a little sus? Would that make you think like maybe there's like a racial component to this?
I don't think he would have a reason because they're Western societies.
Okay, so then
we don't have a. Go ahead.
Well, if that's how you're mapping it on, then could Asmongold ever make a racist statement? It feels like there's always going to be cover for.
Yeah, if he's just talking about the race, or saying none of these people from this group could ever be come here, or the ones that are here now, all of them that are just from this group of people have to leave. I mean, he's never said anything like that. I don't think he would.
Okay, let's say that I was racist, but I know that it's like a bad position to have because it's like unpopular. Like, couldn't I just possibly say always like, oh, I just want Western immigration or Christian immigration or European immigration?
He doesn't say that. He hates Christians. He talks. I'm a Christian, but he talks shit about Christians. He thinks they're just as bad as Muslims somehow, even though they're not.
Does he really though?
Starting wars with people? Yeah. I promise you. He even thinks that they're starting even when people in the comments will talk about just Muslims, like when what was it? There was something happened, some kind of conflict or something happening. Oh, well, he watched the stuff in Sudan, and they were talking about people like it's all Muslims. Everybody in the comments were like it's always Muslims, only Muslims, and he was like, no, this shouldn't be part of any culture, any religion. He says like Christians do the same thing. That Christians slaughter people, and somebody tried to have an argument with him about. It's been a thousand years since Christians have started wars for that, and he like banned them or muted them, counted them out. But he doesn't. He's just atheist.
Sure. I mean, I'm atheist as well, but I guess
I think one of the reasons why it allows people that have the ulterior motives to even come in, and you're not bad about this, and you even say stuff about it, like because there's people who just refuse to like recognize just the most basic facts of like that thing you just granted earlier, or just for the sake of argument, like just because people refuse to grant even that little bit and automatically call you racist and stuff. That's why
Why do you think
it
people?
makes
Why
it
do you think
easier
people
for
get
those
brain
people
broken
to
on it though?
capture.
Why do you think people like refuse to acknowledge stuff like that?
Well, they've been doing that since before people started being more bold about. I'm only 24, but as far as since I've been paying attention, they've been like that since like before people recently started being able to be more like especially online to where everybody can see it and everybody participates, more open about how they feel about stuff. They've
Yeah,
been
but
like,
like,
this.
if somebody
I'd argue it
says,
was worse.
if somebody says, like, if you've got a person who, you know, when pushed a little bit, reveals themselves, are you like, do you look black? I guess you said you're mixed or whatever.
When I was in college in Athens, UJ, people thought I was Mexican. They thought I was Mexican. So
Okay, sure. I guess like
black,
just like hypothetically,
loose curls.
if you've got a person who's like you're not sure if they're racist or not, but they just say kind of like weird things sometimes, and then something bad happens to them, and they like go off on some crazy racist tirade, would you look at that person and think like, oh wow, that last thing that happened just turned them racist? Or would you think like, ooh, I don't know, maybe this is kind of lurking the whole time, right? So like when you say that like, well,
I remember little things.
Sure, yeah. Or when you say like people haven't been like full on like mask off about everything until recently, sure. But I think that like people have like this suspicion, and I agree with you that it's dumb. I think one of the biggest issues that liberals have is sometimes they just can't admit certain things, like black people commit more crime. Like it's a really hard thing for liberals to admit sometimes. But like I understand why it happens when the person on the other side is like, don't you believe that black people have the warrior gene, so they're genetically predisposed to committing more crime? Like when the person like that is arguing against you, it's really hard to say, yeah, I kind of agree. Black people do commit more crime because it's like, well, hold on, what am I agreeing to? You know?
Yeah, but like it's always been a culture argument until recently. Like I never even heard the genetic argument until very recently.
We can call it
even when it was a cultural argument, it was shut down.
We can call it a cultural argument, but when the cultural argument always seems to be aimed at one direction.
Like but it's not. Like they even bring up the white people that act like that or act certain ways.
They even bring Well, no, but they don't really though. So like, here's the big difference, okay? You've heard about like crack cocaine, black neighborhoods, cops need to crack down on it. You've heard about like black people smoking weed was a stereotype when I was younger. I don't know if this is still like a huge stereotype, but like when we talk about black people and drugs, okay? I'm not trying to sound too woke here, but we talk about black people and drugs. This is a black person's problem and it's a policing problem, and that in my mind, this is basically exclusively how it's talked about. But when white people, yes, do you think it's different, or do you disagree with that?
I know for a fact that you 100% along like in the like before the 90s, like yeah, like for sure, like openly on the news and stuff. Well, not news, maybe like opinion stuff, but I don't think so. I don't think so. Actually, since the 2000s and stuff.
Or what do you mean? What are you disagreeing with me on? Just so I understand or disagree.
Like that it was made to seem like a black people only problem.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me be more clear.
I've never heard it.
Yeah, let me be more clear on this. I don't mean that like only black people smoke weed, but I'm saying like when these drugs are having really bad impacts on the black community, the two solutions that we give are the cops need to crack down on it, or the black community needs to get its shit together. So we need more black fathers in the household. We need more cops, cracking skulls on the street corners. This is the solution. But then when we look at how the white community's been impacted over the past decade or so with like the mass opiate thing, now it's like we need to invade Venezuela to free white people from this drug, or we need to blame the pharmaceutical companies, or we need to do everything we can to support white people dying of drugs. Nobody, or at least I don't really ever hear this rhetoric of like, why are you dying of fentanyl? Just stop doing drugs. Or like we need to get cops like cracking down. Like if you go to the hospital and you get out of surgery, then there should be cops visiting your home to make sure you're not abusing your prescription painkillers. Like why are you still taking this? We don't need a bunch of Vicodin addicted, old people and white people. But it was never. I don't think I've ever heard anybody even remotely suggest that like the opioid epidemic is just the fault of like white people getting addicted to drugs who shouldn't be.
Well, I think it's because I think it was because it was back during the 60s and 70s and stuff. Like, but since like the 2000s, I don't think they did that they've done that towards black people. They've said stuff like that towards black people, and the opiates affect everybody. Like when I was in Athens, crazily enough, one of the reasons why I stopped going to school was because I actually got addicted to opiates, and there's shit tons of black people up there that do that too, white people that do that too. It's a problem with all the people, like everybody. It's not like a one side like. It doesn't just affect white people. I don't think that's why.
Sure, I understand, but like the response to the crime wave in the 90s and the response to like the crack epidemic and everything literally was we need to, like the crime bill, right? It was a 93 crime bill. We need to crack down hard on policing. And it feels like the response to and the Congressional Black Caucus and everything else, people really don't like crack. But it seems like the response to the opioid thing is like everybody's at fault except for the white people doing the drugs. I've never heard people blame white people for getting addicted to opioids. And I feel like it's because it was like a white person's drug more than anything else. I never heard that.
I think it's because we've actually made progress, actually made progress in understanding like how it actually does affect people and that it's a disease and stuff. Like I've listened to them talk about it on Fox News about how it's not like they've talked about it in that way, how it's like an issue that can affect anybody. There was a couple hosts on there that talked about how that was part of some stuff that happened in their family. Maybe that it does have something to do with what you're saying, but it also could just be because it had never affected them or white people in that way to where they even had a way to understand it. Now they understand it from everybody. I just think it's just because it's two different areas in time, like two different parts in time. And that was also right when well, never mind. I don't think that's true actually.
I guess I disagree, but it's hard to.
The last thing I think you could say is that Asmon's racist, because he even says stuff that, like when he says it, I'm like, oh, that's gonna get clipped, that's gonna sound bad, and he'll say it like openly, like about how everybody makes jokes and like how he's actually probably worse off stream. I know that's probably not making the case for him right now, but he'll say stuff like that, and I'm like, if I think he was actually racist and trying to hide it, I don't think he would say stuff like that.
So I mean, like my issue related to Asmongold and racism is I wouldn't say it's necessarily like racism. The term I use is like xenophobia. Like
100%. Yeah. So I don't think that's wrong. There's Japanese are xenophobic. I think and if they weren't, maybe we wouldn't have Japan. Like I think it's good to preserve cultures.
Well, yeah, and maybe maybe you can make that argument in some places, but like, how does it work in the United States? Because aren't we kind of like not to be like again super woke, but like aren't we kind of like a nation of other peoples, like of immigrants?
No, yeah, I agree with you, but that's when we have it where people are assimilating and people that actually love the country and want to come here. Like, and I appreciate how and I've always said this, and I've been so frustrated because they never do this. Like, and I have this argument in the comments with people like on like every now and then in the right wing side, you'll see people in the comments being racist, and it's not as common as some people would think it would be. And there's people arguing against them. And I'm like, when Donald Trump says America, I've been telling like when Donald Trump says Americans, like, what do you think? You think he's saying white Americans? You think he's just talking to you?
Yes.
And like I don't think so. I don't. And they've recently started actually, I think clarifying. Like, so, like Christian Nolan has a commercial about it.
Well, here,
David Vance even said so on stage.
Yeah, I know they'll say a thing, but like, so like here's the thing, okay? And you know, and I actually in the past, and I guess even going forward, I blame liberals for this shit over like fixating on words and stuff. Okay, I think that it's more problematic if you have a person who just like constantly says the N-word and the N-word and the N-word or whatever, and they just say racist jokes all the time or whatever. Anyone they don't like, black people or racial groups or whatever. Like, I think that that's bad, but I think that it's worse if you have a person who never says a racist slur or never utters a racist joke, but they say things like, I don't think a person from that background could ever properly assimilate to this country. But if they're not using a racial slur, people never consider it racism. But I think that second person, I think Asmongold does that a lot. I think that person is infinitely more harmful and infinitely more like actually racist than like a person who just says racist jokes or does dumb shit and maybe even is racist a little bit. Because like that other person, have you ever heard of the term like racial essentialism? Basically the idea that like culture comes from people's ethnic backgrounds or whatever. Like I do think that Asmongold believes that. I don't know if he's explicitly said it before, but I think that he thinks that like the chances of like a person of like a Somali background ethnically being able to assimilate to American culture, it's going to be much harder for that type of person. I think that he might. I think he kind of.
Why do you think that?
Just because of the way that he talks about, like, it's just, I don't think I would ever hear Asmongold ever. Let's say that a group of Swedes were discovered in the United States to be doing some fraud or whatever, or Italians or whatever. Maybe there is some example, I just can't think of it off the top of my head right now. But like, I don't know if I would ever hear Asmongold saying, like, we need to deport these types of people from the United States. Like, Swedes are trying to scam us. Norwegians are trying to, get one over on the system. French people are trying to, I just don't know if he would ever talk about those groups of people the same way.
I mean, that's possible. But like, when he talks about certain, like, he doesn't talk about, like, he's never said anything like how certain people, there's no way anybody from that group could assimilate, or that those people shouldn't be allowed to try to come in. Anytime I've heard him talk about it, it's because there's a large scale of it, or because he'll say like because people like in the Somali stuff, like Tim Walz allows it, or because they're scared to tell the people that they can't do this, or that they're scared to crack down on it. That's why it's been allowed to keep going and to make. And he says also it makes them like it's not good for their community because it makes them look bad. Like it makes their whole community look bad when it's not all their community, it's just certain people, and it's because they weren't like assimilated.
Yeah, but I don't hear those arguments as much. Well, it's making that the Somali community look bad.
Maybe it's because they're clipping them because like they only show you only see this crazy stuff that they'll clip out of them.
I mean, I watch his videos. I know there are people who Hassan and shit will do for sure, but I try to watch like his videos. Like if I'm missing something, this is also why I invite him to chat because if I'm missing something, I don't mind. Like I'm not here to clip assassin. I don't give a fuck about shit like that. People do it to me all the time. What do you do for what's like your biggest hobby or enjoyment? Is it like a game or music or?
Learn. I know it sounds corny, but like. Learn. Like I learn about certain like random stuff, anything that pops in my mind whenever I'm bored. I used to play soccer a lot, but
I guess like if you have a friend who's trying to like there are two types of frustrations I think when people are like learning a new hobby, if it's like playing an instrument or playing a game or whatever, where somebody will get frustrated with a thing, and every time they get frustrated, like I'm done, like I quit, like I'm done.
Yeah.
Versus like another person who gets like frustrated and they keep like trying it over and over again until they like get it. Right. The first person probably seems like they just don't give a fuck about the thing very much, but the second person genuinely really likes the thing, and even though they're getting frustrated, they're like, I'm going to do it again. I'm doing another game. I'm going to practice at a slower tempo, whatever. Right. And I feel like when I listen to people like Asmongold talk about immigrant problems with certain communities, and right now the minority community of the week is Somalians or Somalis. It's like when the answer is instantaneously deport them all, get them out of here, deport them, get them out of here. It's like, okay, well, this doesn't seem very solution oriented in terms of incorporating these people in our country. It seems like you just want to like remove this whole ethnic group from the country for whatever reason, because it's the flavor of the week, minority group to hate, and that's just like mega sus to me. It feels like, especially when it only happens towards communities of color.
Well, I don't think the issue is the fact that there was a lot of, or at least he believes, based on I guess it could be lies from Trump, it could be whatever. But he believes the issue is the fact that there's been a ton of illegal immigration or illegal immigrants coming in, or people that come in, they're allowed to come in that don't want to be American, don't care to be American, don't have the best intentions for America, or like could care less what happens to America and us, and that there's problems here right now with Americans that need to be addressed.
Sure, and real quick, I understand what you're saying, and like especially with the asylum process, this has definitely happened. But then again, I think you're running into that problem of like, why are we incorporating so many different groups with each other? Why are we grouping so many of these together? Because like Somali Americans don't have anything to do with like all the mass asylum seeking from South America, right? That was like a different type of problem. So why are we even speaking of these two things simultaneously?
Right. But that's where the part about him saying like stuff here needs to be fixed. Like there's problems here, but issues here right now. Like we need to like people they just need to go. They're here illegally in the first place.
Yeah, but not the Somali Americans. They're not illegally. But that's not even the claim for that.
I'm talking about the other people.
Sure.
Like the other people. Like,
Yeah,
just
sure.
in general, that's his whole prescription for everybody that came here illegally. Any race, doesn't care what color, doesn't care who you are. Like if you came here illegally, don't care. He don't even care your age. He think it could be old people, regardless. They should be gone. All of them. Everybody. And it could just be because he's been convinced that. I mean, and there is some truth to like some of the issues that they cause, and like some lies that people say, like how we need them for certain jobs that Americans won't do when they only make up. There's like out of the 484 different jobs that that we have in America, there's only 6 that are even immigrant. Like have a majority immigrant, and none of them are majority illegal immigrant. Like there's no job that they only make up like I think 5% or 1% or 5% of the entire workforce in those in the areas.
Sure,
that they're in.
yeah,
So.
I don't. Okay, I have to see specifically what you're talking about. But even if I don't necessarily disagree with any of that, I guess when I look at Asmongold and the way that he talks about these groups, I only hear a solution that's put forth that basically says we need to get rid of all of them. I don't hear any solutions put forth that makes it seem like we want to incorporate any of these people into America, and it only seems to happen with groups of like other colored people. Do you think that like even if I'm not the most like diligent Asmongold viewer, assuming that everything I've seen there is true, and maybe there's other stuff that's exculpatory, but like, do you understand how somebody could come to the impression like, ooh, maybe this guy just really doesn't like. Yeah.
Especially if you just started watching them recently. Like I started watching them actually from listening to you. I think I started watching them maybe April last year. Yeah, April of last year. And the first time I'd heard him talk about groups of people was him defending them, and like talking about or defending them against people in his chats. Like that's why I know he's not, or that's why at least I believe he's not, unless he's recently become more xenophobic or racist. Like, well, I guess not xenophobic. Is that the same thing as like somebody like ethnic stuff?
Well, like I think it's a weird I guess actually it's a different kind of xenophobic. Like he's xenophobic.
Nationalist.
Yeah, but it's only towards like it feels like certain ethnic groups. It's like the weird thing, I guess.
Well, what other like there's we don't have a lot of immigration from white countries or illegal immigration from white countries.
Maybe not illegal immigration, but again, like this conflation of illegal and illegal.
He would hate it if there was a white Christian country that they were trying to sneak in here.
Sneak in, yeah, but again, we're conflating like illegal immigrants with ordinary immigrants and everything else, right? I think it's again that conflation thing of all the different immigrants is a problem. But
I don't think he talks about all immigrants. Like, I think he just talks about illegal immigrants. I could be mistaken, and it's just this the Somali thing recently. I mean, that could be different now because of the Somali thing that he talks about illegal immigrants too.
If Donald Trump tomorrow was to announce a ban on all just South American immigration, do you think that Trump would, or do you think that Asmongold would support that?
What year is this?
Like just South America? Probably.
If Trump was to announce a ban on all European immigration tomorrow, do you think Asmongold would support that?
I've been shitty on the
just on Europe.
Of course.
So?
Like, probably even,
bro, this is gonna be such a terrible score.
But he I'm gonna say like he's been covering the Iran stuff. Like he's one of the only people. Also, there's another reason why, because he's one of the only people who covers like stuff that happens in random countries like Nepal. He covers the stuff right now in Iran, and like the amount of support and like making sure like the first thing you hear, last thing you hear the whole time is only supporting the people and them defending themselves against their I guess their government. Like that's the first thing he talks about. The same way he talks about it with the American people, like how he feels about here. Like that's all he talks about.
What the hell is this?
When he talks about it, and he's one of the only people who even brings this stuff up in the first place. So.
Did you hear when Asmongold was talking about how like we should have like people with similar cultures immigrating here, and like the UK would be a good example of this? Do you remember him talking about this at all, or no?
No, but I don't doubt it. But I mean that's true. I mean, and like that is true.
Okay, I'm just
like,
challenging.
I feel like when you say.
I don't know if he would be okay with like banning all European immigrants. I feel like he would prefer.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah,
cool. One good score.
I mean, if you're including the UK, like, yeah.
Oh
maybe
wow!
not
I still
UK,
only missed it by less than
like
1,000.
The group, like the landmass touching, yes, he'd be cool with that.
All right. I think that's it for tonight, guys. I'm gonna take off a little early. I will be back on Friday. I'm probably not going to be able to do my early stream on Friday, but I will be able to do the late stream. I don't know if I'll be starting it a little late, if I'll be on time, but I will be back on Friday. Everybody have a beautiful time. See you in a couple of days. Bye-bye.